It is time for Shots and Ladders, your home for gambling, drinking, and degeneracy. Woo! My name's Colson Dobson. Ooh, I'm happy to be back. Joining me is Connor Franklin, Steelers fan, semi-professional poker player, and degenerate gambler. And joining us for the first time for Shots and Ladders Week 4 is Sam Levitt out of Idaho Falls, Colts fan. Sam, we're excited to have you here.
Welcome in, Sam.
How you feeling about the Colts and Steelers this week?
Thank you, guys. Absolute pleasure to be here. Pleasure to be a guest. I am feeling better than one might expect looking at the matchup so far.
Good.
I really am.
Good. We're going to talk about it in depth. We're also going to talk about all of the games happening on Sunday, the 11 o'clock slate, then going into the 2 o'clock slate. Then Sunday Night Football, we got a great matchup, and we have 2 games again on Monday. How do you feel about the Monday doubleheaders, Connor?
I'm so excited for the Monday doubleheaders. One of them is going to be a great game. One of them is going to be the worst game to watch in the NFL. So my TV is going to be tuned in to Seattle, Detroit. I'm going to try to avoid watching the Dolphins-Titans game as much as humanly possible.
What if Tyler Huntley plays? Does that change anything, you think, Sam?
I actually really like it. I like adding a dual threat. Their whole offense is just straight speed, and so you add that guy. I mean, you add anybody over Skylar Thompson. I'm liking the look already, personally.
Yeah, that was a rough showing.
It was bad.
It was a bad.
He's had a couple chances, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Hasn't done too well.
And you got to think, with that offense out there, they could have just about anyone coming out here, throwing the ball, and making complete passes to Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Achane, and I believe Mostert's, as of right now, slated to play.
He's coming back.
Still a chance he misses, but everything's pointing to him being back, which means they should be able to run more than they have been in the past, make it a little bit more dynamic of an NFL team, because Achane is not a great behind the tackles runner.
No.
He's an out of the backfield, swing passes, and can he still go between the tackles? Yes, but that's Mostert's role, and I think having him back is going to be able to change this a lot for him.
Yeah, I agree. I think what we discredit from, because we think like with the weapons it'd be so easy, but Miami's offense is like centered around timing. Like it's not like, oh, it's so easy to just dump it out there to Tyreek, dump it out there to Achane or whoever, Jalen Waddle. It's like the timing and the motion timing, like just getting that part down where they're in motion when the snap is happening. I feel like getting that down with all the plays would be like so hard, and then you have to time up everything, and like it just seems like a hard offense to play in. They make it look really easy, but I think Tyler Huntley has a better chance of just being an accurate quarterback, and he's shown. I mean, with the Ravens, he was great. When Lamar would get hurt and Tyler Huntley would come in, they were like, I've been saying it forever that he's the best backup quarterback in the league.
And I see where you're coming from, because like you take just what he's doing in game, and Tyler Huntley does look like the best backup in the NFL. He looks absolutely amazing. But to your other point about how complicated this Dolphins offense is with all of the motions.
Are you about to say Tyler Huntley's dumb?
No, I don't think he's the right quarterback for that job, though. I think it would be a lot better for them if Tua is to miss significant time to bring in a veteran backup with experience, a Jimmy Garoppolo type person. Like, you look at what Joe Flacco did for the Browns last year.
Joe Flacco and Jimmy Garoppolo are 2 very different people.
Perfect. Bring in Joe Flacco.
Hey,
Jimmy
the Colts
Garoppolo
will
gives the
accept the
Dolphins a better
second-round
chance to win
pick
than
for
Tyler
Mr. Flacco if that's what they want. I'm just saying, we'll do it.
It's
fine.
I think
a second-round pick.
You're
That
going to
seems
call
fair.
up the GM and just say, hey,
Bro,
I accept this trade.
I do not think the Colts would give up Joe Flacco. With having Anthony Richardson as your starter,
With how bad Anthony Richardson looks as well, I don't think they would give him up for anything.
The Colts' backup quarterback is one of like the most valuable backup quarterback positions in the league right now, because at least just based off of Anthony Richardson's first season.
Based off the first 3 weeks, what we've seen so far, it has not been amazing, to say the least.
The way he's playing right now, I don't think is that much of a problem, but he has been injury prone. There's a good chance the backup quarterback for the Colts is going to start in at least, what would you put the over-under at? 3 games this year?
4, yeah, exactly. 3-4 games.
3 picks in this game. Flacco will be in this game at some point.
I think so.
Minka right here. Minka's going to take off. Guaranteed player prop bet right here. Minka for an interception.
Let's transition. Let's talk just briefly. I mean, let's spend just a tiny bit of time talking about last week with first off, the way our ladder parlay went last week when we started building it. I said it's this square right here. This has been the square that has just done us in
Doomed us.
time in, time out. First episode, it was Carolina Panthers +4, and
My
then
bad on that one.
week 2 we built the parlay. We didn't do an episode because I was at a funeral, but we had Colts -1.5 versus
The goddamn Green Bay Packers.
The Packers.
I'm sorry, Sam. I will never forgive the Colts and what you guys did to me that week.
Dude,
Game.
Yeah,
That game probably caused me
still
more
hurts.
stress than any game in the NFL I've watched in the last 4 years because of the amount I was invested on the Colts winning that game. I was a huge Colts believer coming into this year, and watching that team play, it decimated all hope I ever had for them.
Yeah,
I hope
things
you guys
just
end up
weren't
with the first
meshing.
round draft pick. The first overall pick. You guys,
The first overall pick.
I hope you guys
think,
do. I hope the worst things for you.
You know, that would be nice to have the first pick, wouldn't it? But
Get
the
a
thing
real
about the
quarterback.
Colts is they are a
Jesus.
top 5 slowest starting team in the league consistently. I've watched it for a long time, and so I wouldn't say it's time to completely abandon ship quite yet, but I will not disagree with you that Packers Colts game was slightly disgusting as a viewer. It kind of upset me a little bit.
It was abysmal. But so it busted us that week 2. So week 3, we're like, all right, we got to make sure that this square is a for sure. I mean, surefire, 100% lock bet. What's the worst looking game week 3? The easiest pick, of course, Buccaneers going into Denver. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to beat Denver money line. No problem. They're 7.5-point favorites for sure. So we picked Buccaneers money line right here.
That fucking square.
This square has our number right now, Sam.
That was a
has our
shocker as
number.
well. That was definitely a shocker.
Disgusting.
Yeah. Who would have guessed? Who actually
gonna
could
turn
have
around
possibly
this
guessed?
week,
The
though.
Buccaneers looked so good the first 2 weeks as well. I don't know.
You want to talk about Baker Mayfield football since he's come into the league? It's looked like a god for 1 week, looked like trash for 2 weeks.
I thought that
Looked
was
like a
Gardner
god
Minshew
for 3
football.
weeks, looked like trash for 1 week. He's a very hit and miss quarterback, and I think he's going to have a huge bounce back week this week. I don't foresee him having that bad of a week again.
Considering
He's got a good matchup. It's
Yeah.
going against Philly's a 1.5 point spread favorite. But Philly is probably going to be without Devontae Smith. Probably
It's
going
true.
to be without A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown might come back and play, but Devontae Smith took one of the dirtiest hits that I've seen in a while
I don't
in the
think it was
NFL.
dirty.
It was pretty dirty.
So the ladder parlay, we're gonna hit it this week. Sam, we hope you'll stick around to help us build it. We
Absolutely.
just, quite frankly, can't afford to lose it this week.
No.
We
Must
can,
have.
but we don't. I mean,
It would hurt. It would really hurt.
it would hurt. It would really hurt. So excited about that. Other notable things from last week: Colts got a nice win against the Bears at home at Lucas Oil Stadium. That was a really not super fun game to watch, but Sam, how
I
do you
won't
feel about your guys'
apologize
win?
for it either. Won't
Huh?
apologize for it. Happy to leave with a 1. Get rid of that O. I'm happy with it.
It was pretty close.
It was tough.
Pretty close, though.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk
That was
about
close.
that Caleb Williams Hail Mary pass to end the first half. DJ Moore catches it and gets tackled at the 1 yard line.
Yeah.
If he goes
That
into
was
the end zone
unbelievable.
with that's a different game.
That's Gus Bradley
That does not
defense,
turn
though.
into a Colts win if he gets that,
That is
because that
Gus.
momentum going into halftime would have been immaculate. The Bears would have won that game if that would have been a touchdown.
Yeah, but they didn't. They lost.
They
Colts
didn't,
won
and I was
in the
wrong on
Loud House. Steelers win again, 3-0. The most
3-0.
unfortunate fucking
We
thing
love to see it. We
on
absolutely
the planet.
love to see it. And
Nothing-
I'm hyping us up now because I guarantee you we will not end the season undefeated. So I'm going to live on this undefeated planet while I can and just be happy about it.
Quite a fan you are. Steelers fans are, I think, top 5 most annoying, Sam.
We're borderline 3. I'll definitely give you 5. Definitely will
Okay.
give you top 5.
I'll
No
go top
shot.
3. I'll go
No
top
shot.
3 with Cowboys and
Patriots.
Cowboys.
Patriots fans can't be annoying anymore. Patriots fans have their tails tucked between their legs.
They're
I feel
still
like
pretty. They're still
I know
pretty
your
bad.
your
Raiders fans are
family.
bad.
Sam comes from a family from the New England area, and they're all
Explains a
Patriots
lot.
fans. But
That's true. That's true.
I don't know who would be worse. Packers fans?
Probably
Because
Niners.
they're everywhere.
Niners are up there, I'd say.
There's a lot of Niners in Idaho. Niners fans.
Maybe
are
that's
all
what it
over
is.
Idaho.
Maybe
Yeah.
that's what it is. It's an area
I don't
thing
know.
for me.
Maybe Steelers are top 2. Cowboys are definitely up there. Eagles fans are the worst. Trey Geiger.
How do we
Oh,
forget
man.
Eagles? Eagles fans,
Yeah.
of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Cardinals.
Eagles, Steelers, Cowboys for me personally.
Happy you guys are 3-0. I really am. It sucks for my mental health just being around you as much as I am with the amount of shit that you're capable of talking. Cardinals lost to the Lions. That's the second game we've lost where if the referees had done things a little bit differently, we would have won. I don't know if you guys saw it. Probably not.
What particular call are you alluding to here?
So, first half, there's 2 minutes and 1 second on the play clock, or on the game clock.
Okay.
Jared Goff snaps the ball. 2 minutes and 1 second. He catches the ball, goes back to throw, gets hit while he's throwing it. Mack Wilson Sr. picks it off, takes it back for 6. The referees call it back, stating that the 2-minute warning had started. Everybody played the whole play. The refs didn't blow the whistle. They didn't wave it off. The play was played.
Oof.
And then they said a 2-minute whistle happened. It was a dead play.
Oh, you hate to see
they
it.
go back
a little bit of insult to injury on it. As that drive was happening, Colson and I are sitting there watching the Cardinals game together, saying, "Hey, Cardinals need an interception right now." And I was like, "I feel an interception coming. I know it's going to happen. It's going to be Budda Baker." And Colson, diehard Cardinals fan, he's like, "No, if someone's going to do it, it's going to be Mack Wilson. Mack Wilson's going to get a pick if we get one." The very next play was when this happened, and Mack Wilson gets the pick, runs it into the end zone, calls it back for a 2-minute warning. They show it back after the fact, and there was still 1 second left on the clock.
I saw a tweet from one of the Cardinals beat writers.
It hurt.
And he's like, "That's weird. We started the 2-minute warning at 2 minutes and 1 second. Everybody else seemed to start it at 2 minutes. That's interesting part of the game." But so that happened. We lose the game by, I think, 7.
7.
Or 6. No, 6. It was 20-14. The week before, week 1 against the Bills, we've got 20 seconds, 30 seconds left in the game. We're down 5 or down 6, and it's 4th down. We're going for it from the 30. Kyler tosses the rock to Greg Dortch on the 3-yard line, and he just gets tackled before the ball gets there. He gets one hand out and touches the ball, but he's being completely tackled, and there's no if there was a foul, then we're first and goal from the 1 yard or 3-yard line with 25 seconds left.
Yeah.
It was Cardinals kind of got fucked, but I'm not super upset about it because we've looked so good and we're super promising. We've got a tough matchup that we did not expect to be a tough matchup this week until Monday Night Football. But yeah, there was
a lot of good games.
A lot of good games.
I remember in this garage actually about exactly 7 days ago, someone decided to talk a lot of shit on the Carolina Panthers. Saying that Andy Dalton had no shot. It was his lock of the week. The Raiders were going to come in, absolutely destroy the Panthers. How did that work out?
I may have said those things.
You may have. You may have. You did.
I think a lot of people in America may have said those things.
His second lock of the week was the Saints. Saints to cover that 2.5-point spread versus the Eagles. Eagles coming in as underdogs. I believe someone went against you on both of those.
Yeah, that was you.
And someone was right on both of those locks, and it was not the guy who said they were locks.
Moving on from last week, let's just clear this up. Sam and I on the last episode made 2 slap bets. Okay.
Who and you?
Or
I did.
Sorry, Connor and I.
You too.
Fuck you, Sam.
Wow.
I was like, I probably owe up then at this point. I didn't know what games we were betting on.
Me and Connor made 2 slap bets. We pushed.
Oh.
So we did discuss on the program that if we do push, no slaps given. We're not going to do a slap for a slap. We're not going to do an eye for an eye. If we push, no slaps.
Because if we have to do 2 more this week, it might have to continue.
Yeah, it will.
It's a long season ahead. The wear and tear becomes a factor. That's okay. We can avoid it. We can avoid it week 4. That's fine.
Mike Cheeks will. Yeah, exactly. Let's roll into it. 11 o'clock games. Let's go Broncos, Jets. Jets are, am I reading that right? Yes, 8-point favorites at JetLife Stadium. Over-under is 39.5. notables. These two teams together are 2-3-1 on the over/under. If that means anything to you, it doesn't really mean anything to me. How do you feel about this game, Sam?
Man, the Broncos have really, really struggled offensively getting things going. They got a rookie quarterback. Last week, they finally picked it up out of nowhere in a pretty tough matchup for them, I'd say. Jets, very, very defense-heavy team. Their defense has looked really, really good every game. I could definitely I'm going to actually ignore last week. I could see the Jets defense being a big problem for the Broncos offense this week.
I'm right there with you. I think that the performance that the Broncos had against the Bucs was absolutely phenomenal. Good for them. You got to win. You're not doing the same thing against Aaron Rodgers and these Jets.
Yeah.
I don't love the spread. That 8-point spread always kind of scares me a little bit.
It is a little spooky.
NFL teams are really good at keeping games close.
Yeah.
I think there's a 0% chance that the Broncos win this game heads up, though.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers will dominate this. I'm not going to be the one to say it because I don't want to pick against the Broncos in that same square 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
But that would be my choice to take over that square.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers going in or playing at home. Bo Nix is not going to outduel Aaron Rodgers, but still give me the spread. I'm going to take the Jets to cover that spread.
Okay, I like that. I think the Broncos were playing a Vita Vea-less Buccaneers, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. That is true. And Winfield as well, I believe.
Yeah.
Yep. They were down multiple key starters.
Is Winfield back?
So
the Bucs have a good defense, but when you don't have Antoine Winfield and you don't have Vita Vea, obviously
those are two of their best.
Well, and they're two of their leaders. So you take out just not having the two pieces on the field. You take out having two of the leaders on the field. It starts to be like it makes sense that they kind of had a defensive meltdown. I don't think the Jets are dealing with very many injuries.
Winfield is still going to be out. Vita Vea has been ruled questionable now, but Winfield is still going to be out. Yeah, as far as the Broncos and Jets goes, Broncos don't have a single starter that's out right now. Jets have a tackle, Morgan Moses, who's out, and inside linebacker C.J. Mosley is doubtful.
So what I want to talk about next before I make my pick on this game, I've already got it picked, but I'm kind of waffling a little bit. Where's the money at?
So the public right now, on the spread, 61% of the money is on the Jets to cover.
Okay.
39% is on Denver. But weirdly enough, money line bets, more percentage of the money is on, or more percentage of bets are on money line for the Broncos than on the spread. So 39% of the bettors, or 33% of them are on Broncos with the spread. 36% are on them as far as the money goes.
Okay.
That's actual dollars played. That's not percentage of bets. 12% of money line bets are on the Broncos money line, but 36% of the money. So a lot of the big bettors are taking the Broncos to upset this week.
So I think a big reason for that is 6-point underdogs through 3 weeks are 12-1 against the spread.
They're doing amazing.
And
interesting.
The sports books are absolutely killing the public because of that. And it's one of those things where I'm always like, whenever there's a good streak, I almost want to like bet against it because as soon as you jump on the bandwagon of a good streak, it seems to fail.
Yep.
So with that being said, I feel like I lose either side that I go, but I'm going to go with the Broncos with the points just because I'm going to finally do it and stop being a serial optimist and just say, you know what? The sports books are going to keep screwing people. One more week at least. Give me the Broncos with the points. What do you got, Sam?
You know, I'm actually going to go Jets with the points here. I think that Broncos offense had a really, really good week last week. Like we noted, they were missing 2 key players on defense, but I wouldn't necessarily call it a fluke, but I do think they've got a much tougher matchup on defense this week, and I think that the Jets offense is also starting to gel. Aaron Rodgers getting the ball to Garrett Wilson a lot more as it's been going, and yeah, I got the Jets on the points.
Cool. I'm not super confident in that, so I don't have any slap bets or anything like that. But let's move on to Vikings going into Lambeau Field to take on the Packers. Packers are getting 3 points at home, which home field for the Packers is pretty much a 3-point automatic swing towards the Packers, so it's almost like a pick 'em in terms of what the books are thinking. But this is like the hardest game, I think, to pick this week.
This
Also,
is a hard game.
Is Jordan Love playing or is Jordan Love not playing?
So Jordan Love currently has been moved back to questionable. I think this line is as if Jordan Love was going to play. Because if you take a Malik Willis-led team, and don't take any credit away from Malik Willis, he has done great for the 2 weeks that he's been playing. But Sam Darnold and the Vikings have outplayed the Packers at every point this season so far with him. I think this line would be the other way around. I think it would be Vikings -3 if the sports books thought that Jordan Love was still going to be out. But one of the reasons that I love the Vikings +3 on this is because if Jordan Love doesn't play, that line is going to change. So you're going to get an extra probably 3 to 4 points to play with being able to take them at +3. So I'm hammering right now on Vikings +3 because no team that has started a season 3-0 should be a 3-point dog in any match. I don't care what the match is. You could put any 3-0 team against the Ravens right now, and I'm still going to take that 3-point spread because I'm not going to bet against the hot hand right now. These guys have come out. Vikings have proved that they can win with Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold is a great quarterback right now.
He's the best in the league right now, besides Josh Allen, maybe.
He's still younger than Burrow. People think that he's so old and washed because he came into the league so early. But you think about the people that have been developing him. He was on the Jets for terrible years. He was on the Panthers for terrible years. Last year, you got to go learn under Brock Purdy in San Fran, learn from Kyle Shanahan, and now look what he's doing. Look what a good coach has been able to do for Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold is back. Vikings +3, easy bet. Vikings money line. Sprinkle a little bit on top there.
Okay, wow. That's big on a money line parlay, having underdog odds. I think it's Kyle Shanahan has a lot to do with it, but I just think Kevin O'Connell is a fucking genius. I think Kevin O'Connell could make Skylar Thompson look good. Like he is. I
don't know if I go that far.
He's so good. Give me the Packers -3. Sam, how are you feeling about this? Honest, tough. Minnesota is 3-0 against the spread. Also, forgot to mention.
Yeah.
But still, I picked against the Packers last week, and I'm not going to pick against them again.
Okay. This is a tough one to call. This should be a really good matchup. I like what you said about O'Connell. I agree. I think maybe even underrated as an offensive play caller, but should change by the end of this year. He does a really good job. I also think LaFleur does a really good job on the offensive side of the ball. So I'm thinking it's going to be a high-scoring offensive matchup, and it's going to come down to who's going to play better defense, and I've got the Packers for that. And I will go... I do. And I would go money line with it, to be honest.
Who do you have with the spread, though? Do you still have the Packers?
With the spread?
If you were betting, you would take Packers money line. But with the 3 points.
With the spread, I would go, ooh, that's tough. Oh, that's tough. I'll take Vikings. With the spread.
Attaboy.
So you got the Packers winning by 2 or 3.
I do have the Packers winning in a really, really tight game.
Okay. Love it. One last thought that I forgot to say that needs to be said is Matt LaFleur is coaching his ass off.
I mean, he is.
What he has done with Malik Willis. And I think he's early candidate for Coach of the Year as it stands right now. But, let's go to Carolina, where the Panthers will host the Cincinnati Bengals. They are getting 4.5 points at home.
Yeah.
This is another tough one to pick because Andy Dalton was Jesus Christ himself last week.
Yep, that is true.
It's not even an overreaction. He was the best quarterback in the NFL last week. Not named Josh Allen.
Especially when you look at how that offense has been without him previously. Like, it just looked like nobody on offense was playing football, and like you can't blame Bryce Young at all. And then Andy Dalton goes out getting pressured just as much, coverage just as good, and he's fitting balls in tight windows. Very, very good game from him.
Panthers' #1 receiver, Adam Thielen, placed on IR.
Is he their number 1?
I wouldn't say so anymore.
Are both number 2s. Neither of them should be a number 1
on any team,
but on their team because of the experience that he had being there last year. I think he was listed as their number 1. He's currently on IR, so the Panthers are going to be looking at Deontay Johnson, who has been dealing with a groin injury. He's officially listed as questionable, but he's slated to play. They're going to be relying heavily on Xavier Legette, first-round pick, and potentially others to start filling in a little bit. But no one's going to be able to give the same production as a veteran like Adam Thielen is going to.
Yeah.
So it does worry me.
Touchdown catch.
But we talk so much about the revenge games. Andy Dalton revenge games. Tore it up in Cincy for so long.
And Cincinnati, it was trade deadline and Andy Dalton's birthday. And they benched him and said, no, we're not going to trade you. So, I mean, as far as revenge games go, revenge games are what? 1-0 this year? There's only been one, and that was Malik Willis last week against the Titans.
There's probably been more that we just
I mean, in terms of
as far as like big quarterbacks, yeah, that was one of the bigger ones.
Revenge games are
Sam Darnold versus the Vikings, kind of, but this is going to be one of the biggest revenge games in a minute. Joe Burrow and the Bengals, though, have just not looked good. Which is weird because they're, 0-3. They always start slow, but an 0-3 start, if you hit 0-4, your chances of making the playoffs go through the floor. It becomes really hard to make the playoffs starting 0-4 in an extremely competitive and tough AFC North with the best team in football in it, plus the Ravens, plus the Browns, who are bad. So it's going to be hard for them to get to that playoff spot if they start 4-0. Everything in me wants to take them. But I did it 3 weeks in a row. I might just be a Panthers fan. Give me Panthers plus 4.5.
All right.
Okay.
Give me the Panthers as well. I think the Bengals will probably win. I think this game is going to be a bit of a shootout. These two teams are 4-2 versus over-unders going over. So I do like the over here. Even though it's high 47, I think this is going to be a shootout. Lou Anarumo's defense hasn't looked great. And the revenge game, that's one of those things that I've been all about it. I bet based off revenge games, based off of similar things like head coach changes or quarterback changes. I know I was against the Panthers last week, but that was just because you were riding their dick, theoretically, through weeks 1 and 2, and they looked physically, and they looked like shit. And then, but who knows, man? I mean, you got to think the Panthers have gone. Think about the meetings on Tuesday. After Sunday, you have Monday off. For the last however long, they've gone into that Tuesday meeting, that Tuesday practice, work day. Just everybody's morale has got to be like, yeah, we just fucking suck. Like, we're just not a good football team like this. And then after that, like the practices they had this week had to be just the best. I mean, I imagine they had fucking music blaring. David Tepper was showing up with champagne. It had to be just the best environment on the planet. So, and just feel so bad for Bryce Young because of all that, because they only made one change. But yeah, give me the Panthers plus 4.5. Sam, we're both on the Panthers. How do you feel, man?
I am gonna have a different take here.
Okay.
Missing Thielen hurts. You've got Deontay Johnson to work with. They've got Mingo as well and stuff. But I think losing Thielen really, really hurts them. The Bengals, I agree, are very slow starters, much like the Colts. But I like the way that Burrow looked a lot last week. They got T. Higgins back, and he survived a whole game. His hamstring seems like it's fine. I think this is actually going to be a slaughter. I would take the Bengals points on this one.
Wow.
And I'd even go as far as to say I think they win by more than 14, personally. But we'll see how that ends up.
Do you think Jaden Daniels tore up the Bengals because Jaden Daniels is that good, or do you think the Bengals defense is that bad?
I do. I think the Bengals defense struggled a little bit, but Jaden Daniels has lit up
struggled
every
a little bit.
He's played against. Was that
struggled a little bit? They didn't. They
allowed 38 points. They did more than struggle, I would say. But Jaden Daniels has looked awesome, man. Like, as of right now, he's the best rookie quarterback that we've seen. So this year, of course.
Well, and he's looking better than C.J. Stroud, who was the best rookie quarterback of all time last year. Especially after what the Vikings did to, which, oh, fuck. And I'm on the back. I'd still like it. Whatever. I'm not waffling. I got the Panthers. You got the Panthers. Sam's got the Bengals.
Bengals boy.
Let's move on to
the best team in the NFL versus the worst team in the NFL.
Well, that's bold.
This is a big game.
We talking about the Niners Patriots right now? Is that what we're looking at?
Oh no, the other worst team in the NFL and the other best team.
So the Colts,
the goddamn Yenzers, are going in to Indianapolis, and Pittsburgh is about to destroy Anthony Richardson and the Colts. As I said last week, I was huge on the Colts going into this year. I'm still huge on Jonathan Taylor. I think he's awesome. Jonathan Taylor's not faced a defense like the Pittsburgh Steelers. Anthony Richardson has looked not good against defenses that have been a lot worse than the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't see any way that he doesn't throw 2 interceptions. I don't see any way that he leads the Colts to more than 1 touchdown. Pittsburgh will win this game. It'll be another low-scoring affair. Yeah. It's Steelers defense and a Steelers bad offense versus an even worse Colts defense. Steelers are still going to be able to score. Justin Fields is going to get a rushing touchdown. George Pickens is going to get a receiving touchdown. And it's going to be the first 2-touchdown game of the year for the Steelers. And the Steelers win this handedly. Give me Steelers -2. Steelers are 3-0 and 3-0 against the spread.
Sam, he makes some convincing arguments there. I'm waffling a little bit.
The gauntlet has been laid down.
How are you feeling?
Well, to be honest, I think the AR's had a tough matchup defensively every single week. You go against the Texans, who already had a good defense last year, then they bring in Danielle Hunter. That's your week 1 matchup coming off a long, long layoff. There's bound to be some rust. He's also like the least experienced quarterback in the league. This year, as in his second year, he is still the youngest starting quarterback in the league, and he hasn't even finished a full 4 games of NFL football quite yet. Does that take away from how good the Steelers' defense is? No. But the Colts also play much, much better when they're underdogs. I'm not super impressed by the Steelers' offense. Their defense, of course, is great. But, I would say it's pretty much a gimme to expect 1 gift-wrapped interception from Justin Fields to Nick Cross this week. And I do think that the Colts' offense actually gets firing a little bit more this week. The Colts' offense is explosive. They have all the tools at every level. Tight end a little questionable right now.
Anthony Richardson can't complete a pass that's under 40 yards.
Let him finish his point.
Anthony Richardson is the best deep ball thrower in the NFL right now. But if you can't complete a pass that's under 20 yards, you're not going to win a game. He can't throw a slant route.
Sam, excuse my friend. Please continue.
That's completely fine. Don't even sweat it. Emotional matchup this week. I understand, Connor. I do get it. And you're not necessarily wrong. We've seen him miss the 5-yard outs. We've seen him miss the hitches. We've seen the slants be missed. That has happened. That is factual. As of right now, I think it's all a mental thing. To say that this guy can throw the ball 70 yards down the field on a dime where no one else can get it but his guy, and then to say he can't throw a slant, it's pretty shocking. And that's what we've seen so far. But like I said, he's inexperienced. He's very young. I think he's going to get better every week. All we want to see is signs of improvement. 3 weeks in a row, that's 3 strikes. I could see this week being a decent breakout game. I do agree, actually, though, in the sense of it being a low-scoring game. I would probably take the under on this. I don't even know what it is, but 40, I would probably take
40.
Yeah, 40.
40 on the dot.
Steelers game
I would expect the under. The Colts defense also looked a lot better last week. 2 interceptions from Jalen Jones. And the run numbers, that's the problem. The first 2 weeks, we allowed I think it was 260 rushing yards, 267 rushing yards through the first 2 weeks. And then held DeAndre Swift.
The Packers.
Yeah. Well, the Packers killed. Well, Joe Mixon ran for 168 on us the first week. That guy absolutely killed us.
I will say, I had very high expectations for the Colts coming into this year.
Yes.
And I think if you gave me this matchup, week 1 of the NFL, without seeing what I have seen from the Steelers and from the Colts, even as a Steelers fan, I might pick the other way. I might have been taking the Colts as a 3.5-point to 4-point favorite going into Pittsburgh at the start of the year. Because Justin Fields has acted and been in the NFL this year what I thought Anthony Richardson was going to be. And Anthony Richardson has been what I thought Justin Fields was going to be. They've swapped places in my mind. I thought Richardson was going to come out absolutely ball. I thought Jonathan Taylor was going to run over everyone. As of right now, Jonathan Taylor is about the only high point of your offense. Your wide receiver one right now is looking like Alec Pierce.
He's a
Michael
dog.
Pittman forgot he was playing
He's
football.
a dog.
Michael Pittman
He
doesn't
is
even
our
know
wide
that he's
receiver
suiting
one.
up
That's the
on
flyest white
Sundays.
boy in the league.
Yeah, he's a white prince, brother.
Top
Jeez.
three favorites for flyest white boy in the league. Put that one down as well on the parlay. By the end of the season, that'll hit. I promise.
Yeah, for sure. When
I love
the AP votes that in, that'll hit.
But I do think that we've been very, very one-dimensional on offense because AR is struggling to hit those short throws. Nobody will play man defense against us. We've got explosive receivers for one, but the more important thing is when you play man and all your DBs are worried about the receiver, it spreads the field out a lot more, and that's when AR can take off and use his legs. And we haven't seen that much because everybody is playing zone. He hasn't been able to run as much as we thought he would. I think that maybe they're a little bit scared to let him run the ball as well with the injuries that he's sustained so far. I mean, you don't want to lose your guy 4 weeks in again like last year, but Lamar carries the ball 10-plus times a game. Guys like that, Justin Fields on the Bears rushing for 1,000 yards. Like when that's one of the best aspects of their game, you don't shy away from letting him use it. And I think we have so far. And if we can get that going a little bit, and if he can start hitting the short throws, I think we see a brand new offense. And I think this could be the week, but it is going to come down to AR. That's for sure.
So I'll start with one of my main worries is that the Colts aren't going to get a home field advantage in this game.
That's true.
Okay.
That's true.
There's Pittsburgh fans are everywhere.
It's a tough team to play away.
You have massive cities all around Indianapolis that are probably chock full of Pittsburgh fans. They're going to travel from Pittsburgh. They're going to come in from St. Louis. They're going to come in from Chicago. They're going to come in from all over the place. There's going to be a lot of terrible towels being flipped around. It's going to be loud during the offensive snaps for Anthony Richardson. What we learned about the Colts, and I like to think about the human element a lot. What we learned about the Colts in week 3 of the NFL is they are listening to the noise.
They are.
Gus Bradley was the most ridiculed defensive coordinator probably in the entire NFL after week 2 because of what happened in that game versus the Packers. They come out, they shut down the run. Who else did this? Dallas did this. Dallas came out and shut down the run on Thursday Night Football after being ridiculed for being soft all week.
Yeah, that one killed me.
The Colts are also listening to the noise. They're going to make adjustments. They worked on short passes, I'm sure.
I hope
Shane
so.
Steichen's not an idiot.
I like to imagine.
Gus Bradley's going to be playing well. I mean, he has to be. His job is on the line. Anthony Richardson, how they use him, I don't know, but this feels like an important, not a must-win, but I think they're going to put a lot out on the line. They're not going to play conservative here.
Yeah.
I like the Colts +2. I want to see the Steelers lose as part of that reason, just personally.
There's a little bias going into it.
There is a little bias. But I think the Colts have shown that they're listening to the noise, and I think if they are hearing what people are saying about them and they're making the proper adjustments, Anthony Richardson could have a breakout game in week 4. And if the Steelers are planning for the Colts how they have played weeks 1, 2, and 3, and they come out and play differently, yeah, the Steelers, TJ Watt's going to get 2 sacks. I mean, they're going to play good, but give me the Colts +2 at home.
That one I will do a slap bet against either of you guys if you want.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Done.
Connor, where there is a bit of a physical distance barrier between us, I would like to offer you a shot plus a dizzy bet on this game.
Plus a dizzy bat?
Plus
Oh my
a dizzy
God.
bet.
Okay. I will 100% take you up on that one, and I'm excited to see you come on the show next week to do one.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Very
Okay,
good.
moving on from that one, emotional game. We're going to move on to the Eagles going into Tampa Bay to play the Bucks. Let's hope that Tampa Bay has fixed all of the damage and that they have power after Hurricane Helene has torn up the entire city for that game. The Bucks are getting 1.5 points against the Eagles. These two teams are 2-4 against the over-under. By the way, I don't see this being a high-scoring affair. I like the under here. I also like the Bucks because of the whole fact that we talked about earlier. Baker Mayfield is a bounce-back guy. I mean, and and I think his name always Todd Bowles. His name always escapes me. Todd Bowles is one of the best defensive minds in football, and I think he's going to have this Buccaneers defense even without Vita Vea, without Antoine Winfield. They got boat raced by the goddamn Denver Broncos last week. They had a hell week of practice. Todd Bowles is going to have these guys flying around. I think they're going to have great defense. I think the Eagles are kind of overrated. I was surprised by what happened with the Saints, but I like the Buccaneers with the points here. Let's go to you, Sam. We'll let Connor go last here. How do you feel about this game?
Yeah, you had the exact same take as me. I was going to say that Baker is also one that listens to the noise, and that guy comes back and plays pissed off, and I definitely see them looking good. The Eagles have surprised me a little bit. They kind of what we saw last year towards the end of the year. They started out really hot, and then something just kind of looked different, and they weren't the same, especially on offense. Started making a lot more mistakes than you're used to them seeing, and so far they look kind of similar. Maybe I'd say the first 2 weeks they looked a little bit better, but tough matchup last week, not as nearly as high scoring of a game. I do think it'll be important to see whether Vita Vea comes back or not, because with Devontae out, potentially missing A.J. Brown, they're going to need to run that offense through Saquon, and it's going to be a run-heavy scheme, and Vita Vea makes a big difference in that offensive scheme. And so it's hard to say right now. Right now, I would take the Buccaneers without knowing whether or not Vita Vea is coming back, but I do think that's a big factor.
And after you guys both saying that, both being that heavy on the Buccaneers, it does make me feel a lot more confident in my decision. I'm not even hesitating. This is Philly minus 1.5. This is Philly minus 4.5.
Philly.
This is Philly minus 7.5. Oh this game will not be lost. The Broncos, to your point, just got, and I'm a big Baker fan. I love Baker Mayfield. I think he's going to have a good week. But if you can't come out here and stop rookie Bo Nix, the least effective running back in football, Javonte Williams, and a receiving room that only has Courtland Sutton and garbage playing for them, and you're going to come out here and try to stop Saquon Barkley and
Marvin
Jalen
Mims
Hurts.
is not garbage.
He is garbage compared to everyone on the Eagles. Jahan Dotson is probably going to be the wide receiver one for the Eagles. The Eagles are going to come out here, absolutely run circles around the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Saquon Barkley is going to probably have 140 yards this game and 2 touchdowns. Dallas Goedert, their tight end, had 1 game played this year, and he's already the number, 5 or 6 tight end in fantasy. He's had an absolutely perfect game. He was the 9th fastest runner in the NFL last week. As a tight end, he was the 9th fastest human being on a football field. Highest recorded speed. Eagles will come out here and slap the Bucs around. I agree with you, Sam. If Vita Vea was in this game, I think my mind would change a little bit. But Saquon Barkley is putting on an absolute showing. Early favorite for Offensive Player of the Year.
You think?
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, he's never going to win an MVP. MVP is a quarterback award, but every other year recently has been whoever the top running back or receiver is getting that Offensive Player of the Year vote. And I don't think there's a running back or receiver that has performed better through 3 weeks than Saquon Barkley has for the Eagles. And I think he takes over this game.
Okay. I'm glad we disagree.
Me too. Makes me more confident.
Do we know what our records were last week?
I also this week forgot to calculate it before we came in.
That's okay. We can do that.
We can do that when we take a break.
Jaguars are going into Houston. Houston's 6.5-point favorites at the Stroud House. Houston is 0-2-1 against the spread. With that being said, the Jaguars fucking stink. Sam, how do you feel about this game?
I love to hear you say that. I just love any other person saying that out loud and me getting to hear it. I wish we could say they both stink, but home field advantage for Houston. They should be looking to send a message after putting up 7, pardon my French, disgusting freaking points against the Minnesota Vikings last week. That was abysmal. I think they bounced back. Yeah. I've not been impressed with the Jaguars at all so far. I thought the Texans actually looked really good against us week 1. They are missing Joe Mixon as of right now. I believe he's questionable, but projected.
He's questionable right now, and their backup, Dameon Pierce, is out. Tank Dell is also out for the Texans.
Oh,
as
that's
is
interesting.
Foley Fodikasi,
Hoobity?
starting linebacker.
Got it.
Mm.
And
What's
Jimmy Ward,
the
their
spread
safety.
on it actually? Actually, what's the spread?
6.5. 6.5 point favorites for the Texans.
Oh.
Divisional games, I don't like big spreads on divisional games because divisional games tend to be closer than any other NFL game. If I'm going to take the Jaguars to cover the spread, I don't think that they win this. I think the Texans are going to win this by 3 to 4 points. But I think the Jaguars are going to be able to keep it close. Texans got blown out last week. Jaguars got blown out worse. This is a bounce-back game that both of these teams need to come out. Even if they don't win, both of these teams need to prove that they are still competing. Because if you get blown out like they did last week twice in a row, you're hurt. I think the Texans got blown out by a good team in the Vikings, but the Jaguars got blown out by the best team in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
The Bills are playing like the best team in the NFL, and it's not even close. I think they would destroy most people by that high of a score. I think it's an overreaction to say the Jaguars are just absolutely cooked. I think they're going to keep it close.
Trevor Lawrence just looked bad.
He's
just
completely
looked
mid right now.
uncomfortable.
He is
He actually
mid.
did.
I wouldn't say he's bad. There's a lot of quarterbacks that I would take him over that are starting games this week.
I
understand
say
he's
he
not,
looks
but he
very
looked-
human.
Yeah.
Looks
very
human when projected to be generational best quarterback since Andrew Luck prospect. They said said that. A lot of them said that.
They
I heard
did.
it plenty of times. And that was not the case last week. He made a lot of mistakes. I would say not that he necessarily played horrible, but some of the mistakes he made, you kind of got to question when that's the potential guy that you're supposed to have for your franchise.
The Bills shut down that offense. Travis Etienne did not look good, but he broke out that 22-yard run in the fourth quarter to bring home the parlay.
Oh,
that's
we
all
never
we can
talked
fucking
about
ask for in that goddamn game. Shout out the Jaguars for doing enough in that game to hit that parlay. $100 into $1,500
on our Twitter at Shots and Ladders or at Shots Ladders. Connor is posting a Thursday night player prop bet every single Thursday
and Monday.
And Monday. Wow. Hey, good for you, Connor.
I'm doing what I can.
Good for you.
Doing what I can.
Wrap it up for this guy.
I really
appreciate 2 Thursdays ago, if you guys watched, we were a Hunter Henry dropped pass in the fourth quarter away from hitting that one. That one was $100 to win. What was it, 1,100,000?
Yeah.
It was right around there. And I was 1 Hunter Henry dropped pass away from winning 2 back-to-back. Thursday night game this week is a little bit farther off. I didn't expect the Cowboys to be able to shut down Singletary that much. Everything else got very close. I'm not as upset about losing that one. But yeah,
nobody was expecting
Monday
Singletary
night
to be under.
Yeah, Monday night doubleheader. That was a great one. I'm expecting to hit another one this week.
Yeah.
I can already foresee everything that happens in these games. So we're good.
It's always $100 to win somewhere between $1,300, $1,400, $1,500. And you're killing it, man. You're killing it. I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
With that being said, you guys are waffling me because, again, 6-point dogs are 12-1 against the spread. Where's the money? If the money is more than 60% on the Texans here, I'm switching to the Jags. But right now on my sheet, I've got the Texans. I will switch to the Jags if 60% or more of the money is on the Texans.
Before the money is announced,
let me know.
I would take the Jag spread. Jag spread before where the money is at. With everything being said, Jags cover the spread, I imagine.
85% of the money on the money line is on the Texans, only 15% on the Jaguars. But with the spread, we're looking at 50-50, 48% of the money on the Jaguars. So that's not going to hurt your choice at all. I will say this, though. 28% of the bets are on Jaguars to cover. So a lot of the big bettors are betting on the Jaguars to cover.
Give me the Texans. The sports books are mean, man. They've been mean. They're being mean.
Yep.
Give me the Texans.
Yep.
Okay.
Who'd you take?
We both took Jaguars to cover.
Okay.
You took Texans.
That sounds like I'm on the losing side. Let's move on to Saints.
Common theme for the year.
Saints going to Atlanta. Talk about a city that got fucked up by this hurricane. Hopefully they have power back up. Did you see Sam, I don't know if you saw this on Twitter or X. There's a video of like all of it was like a fleet of like 500 of those boom trucks that the linesmen, the guys that work on power lines drive. A fleet of literally 500 of them in this big field just like waiting for the hurricane to pass so they could go out and just like rebuild everything.
Wow.
Which I
did
think
not
is
see
incredible.
That's
Those guys,
That is
you talk about
incredible.
first responders being firemen, obviously, police, ambulances, but that's one thing you don't think about with these catastrophic events is fucking linesmen, dude. Those dude, yeah, they make a killing, but they get up there and they're rebuilding the city, getting power to everybody because Atlanta is taking the brunt force of this hurricane. But this game is in Atlanta. Saints are going there, and the Atlanta Falcons have had a very, very tough schedule to start the year, and they've kept it pretty close with everyone. The Saints' performance against the Eagles was very discouraging. I was riding the Saints' metaphorical penis for that game, and I feel burnt, so I'm taking the Falcons -3. Give me Kirk Cousins continuing to figure out how to operate. And their head coach Raheem Morris is he's getting his bearings going.
He is.
He's had kind of a gauntlet.
To start. They've started off with a rough schedule.
Yeah.
And the Saints were, in my opinion, the most overhyped team through 2 weeks. Their offense looked great. Playing against the Eagles last week showed what happens when they play a real defense.
Yeah.
And the Falcons' defense has looked absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
They've got the best safety duo in the NFL right now with Justin Simmons and Jesse Bates back there.
Yep.
And I don't think they're going to allow the Rashid Shaheed 70-yard touchdowns that we came to expect until last week when he just laid an absolute dud, didn't even get a single catch. The Saints are not as bad as last week would lead people to believe, but the Falcons are better. Give me the Falcons to cover that 3-point spread in a divisional game, but the Falcons cover.
Now, Sam, I'm going to do something here that I don't normally do.
Yeah, go for it.
We've gone through this entire first hour without mentioning anything Boise State related. Therefore, we have not taken a single shot. And I think that is just
Let's talk about the Falcons'
It was a little strange.
third-string
Something
running
felt
back.
off.
Yeah.
Falcons' third-string running back, starting kick returner, starting punt returner, Avery Williams.
That's a Boise State player
roundabout
right
friend
there.
of the program.
Cheers to that, man.
Yeah.
Friend of the program.
Roundabout, my wife did go to a party that Avery Williams was at and did sleep on the couch at that party.
Yep.
Very nice.
So
roundabout.
She kind of
shout out
Broncos.
to our
Let's go
boy Avery.
Broncos.
Shout out Avery Williams.
Has not had as many kick return plays as I was expecting. He was an electric returner at Boise State.
Well, wasn't he a DB and now he's a running back?
Yeah, he started out as a corner. Wasn't going to make the team as a corner, but they wanted to keep him on, so they transferred him to running back. And he's not bad. He gets a couple carries every week. But shout out Boise State. Shout out Avery Williams. Shout out you for joining us, Sam.
Thank you. Shout out you guys for having me. And shout out Boise State.
Go Broncos.
And Mr. Avery Williams, of course.
Mr. Avery.
Mr. Avery.
Well, that being said, Sam, for one of the
With
first
that
times
being
this
said-
week, Colson and I are on the same page as far as bet goes. It's not happened much this episode.
That
What
is
are your
true. I
thoughts
think
on
that might be
this?
the first one, actually.
Maybe
since
the
the
second
first
one.
one.
We were
Second one?
We were
Second
both
one?
on Panthers plus 4.5 as well.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay. I hate to really ride the bandwagon here, but I actually do foresee another rough week for the Saints here, possibly low scoring. I have the exact same take as Connor. I think it's way too good of a secondary. They know how lethal Shaheed is, and they know what they want to do with him. It's downfield, deep ball every time. That's how that guy gets all of his usage. And you got AJ Terrell going to be manned up on the outside. That's a good chance he's on
Locking
him.
up Lave.
Justin Simmons and Jesse Bates over the top. Jesse Bates, top 3 safety in the league, in my opinion, and recently the best, you could say, for sure.
Yeah.
Tough division matchup as well. Another close one, but not 3 points close. I don't think. I'd take Falcons. Falcons covering the spread here.
Shout out you guys. The first one that we've all three been on the same
Team the
wavelength
boys.
with. I love to hear
Team
it. I
pick.
love to hear it.
Go
That's
Dirty
fantastic.
Birds.
What do we have?
Go Birds.
I know we haven't talked about it a lot, but 41 points is the over-under. Atlanta is 0-3 versus over-under, and the Saints are obviously 2-1. They went under with the Eagles, but they dominated the over almost single-handedly in their first 2 games. I like the under here. Any thoughts, Con Man?
I don't love the line. I will say, looking at all of the over-unders this week, I think the NFL is starting to realize that offenses have not been as high-scoring as they have been in years past. And that's still because the offenses are still warming up. As we talked about last week, a lot of players not playing during the preseason. Offenses aren't coming out humming at 100%. But this is some of the lowest over-unders I've ever seen. And when I see a lot of low over-unders, it makes me want to start taking more overs. I would take the over in this game, just because I think these offenses both have big play potential. I don't know. I don't love the 41-point line because it feels like the NFL doesn't know what to do either, so they're just sticking it right in the middle. And I feel like 41 to 43 is just such an in-the-middle bet.
And it's not the NFL setting the lines, just so you know.
Vegas, yeah. Vegas and the NFL work together, though. Did you see Brandon Aubrey miss that kick last night?
The
NFL works with them.
Goodness.
That killed 80% of the bets that were on the Cowboys to cover that spread.
That's what I'm saying.
You can't convince me that they don't work together. This is about how we beat Vegas. We beat the NFL.
I agree.
And I don't love a 40.1-point spread either way.
I don't think games have been short, short too, with all the running. The games have been short. Like, there hasn't been a lot of possessions, which has made unders look really, to think of a game going to 40 points, especially watching the Thursday night football game, Giants, Cowboys. It's there's not a lot of possession. It is a snooze fest. There's a lot of field goals. Field goals are at a premium. It's hard to see a game going to 40 points unless you have dynamic playmakers. But it is the Saints and
that's
Falcons.
What scares me about this game is because even though I think that this game is going to be slow, both of these offenses have so many players that can break off a 40 to 50-yard touchdown. You talk about the Saints. Would anyone be shocked if Olave breaks off a 50-yard touchdown?
No.
Kamara, Rashid Shaheed gets past the defense.
Yeah.
We got 3 players that could do it at any point. With the Falcons, Bijan hasn't had a great run like that. He's a great running back. He could break off a run like that this year at any point. Kyle Pitts had a 50-yard catch, got tackled at the 1. He can break one off. Drake London could moss anyone on the Saints defense. The Saints defensive backs are not great besides Marshawn Lattimore, who should be following him.
The way you talk is with such conviction. It's so hard to disagree with. It's brutal. Sam, how do you feel?
Oh, my. That's a tough one. That really is a tough one. I agree. Lots of dynamic, explosive players in the matchup. I would take the over here, honestly.
We're talking about an over-under that we would never bet on because it is that,
It really is a scary one.
Yeah. I don't know why we're... But
I'm with you there. I would probably avoid it, but for the sake of picking it for everybody, I would probably take the over, I think, here. Really good defenses in this game, too, as well, and I'm still saying that. I don't know. I just got a weird feeling. I would take the over.
Okay, let's go to Chicago. The Chicago Bears are hosting the Los Angeles Rams and Matt Stafford and Sean McVay, who are coming off of a comeback win against the San Francisco 49ers that is one for the history books. I mean, that was the most unexpected. We had the Niners money line, I think, and we saw it halftime 21-7. We were just lock that.
No,
we might as well just mark it on the sheet that's a win. And then Sean McVay cooks it up. Matt Stafford cooks it up, missing 3 offensive linemen, missing his 1 and 2 receivers who are stars. But you just forget about Tutu Atwell. He's actually a pretty damn good receiver. At least when he's playing for Matt Stafford, he looks pretty fucking good. It's tough. This game is tough. Bears did not look good against the Colts. And say what you will about the Colts defense. Is the Rams defense any better? It doesn't matter if it is or isn't because the Colts defense kind of dominated the Bears. Caleb put up 300 air yards, but they couldn't score.
One thing to note, Keenan Allen is back this week. This will be the first game he's lining up as a receiver for Caleb Williams.
Well, offensive players have got off to slow starts because they're not playing in preseasons. He hasn't played all season.
At all.
Do you think he's going to come off to a slow start?
No, I don't. I think that the Rams win this game outright. I don't think that the Bears win this game. Coming out as 3-point favorites just feels like it feels like this game was a perfectly even game. Vegas went, okay, who's the home favorite? We're going to give them their 3-point favorites. That's why the Bears are. Yeah. Honestly, if the Bears were 3-point underdogs, I'd probably take the Bears. But I think it's going to be a close game. But I will take the better coached team, the better quarterbacked team, the better roster.
Don't throw shots at Matt Eberflus on this show.
I'll give Sean McVay.
That's a good point.
I'll give Sean McVay. I will gladly do it.
Flus in his new haircut. He looks so cool.
Rams
He's fly.
Don't even think twice about it.
He
Don't
blew
even
up.
think twice about it.
I also have the Rams +3. I have had the Rams +3. I like the Rams. I like the NFC West in general. Sam, how you feeling?
I have also liked Connor's conviction tonight. However, it will not affect me on this one because I'm absolutely riding with Flus. What my take is, I think that pardon that. I think that the Rams secondary is scarce. It's a sparse secondary, I'd go as far as to say, and the Bears receiver room is loaded. Keenan Allen back this week is very, very big, and I thought that Caleb Williams finally had his breakout game against the Colts. Maybe not to the degree that you would like to see, but we saw a big improvement. Took advantage of a kind of struggling secondary. Had two, you could kind of call them whatever picks. Those were both a little bit unlucky, but I think that he has another really good performance this week against the Rams. You make it hard because, like you said, better coach, better staff and personnel in that sense, I would say. But
here's the thing. I'm on your page. I think Caleb Williams is going to have a game. I think he's back. I think he's arrived. I think he's still better than Jaden Daniels. A lot of people are
that's tough.
A lot of people
we are
overreacting. Jaden Daniels is the best quarterback in the NFL right now. I'm seeing a lot of people say it, and that's a lot of fantasy gurus. People love him for fantasy, and I agree with you. But I'm always going to take a veteran quarterback. You look at what Andy Dalton did last week for the Panthers.
Yeah.
Came in and immediately changed that team. A veteran quarterback elevates his team. A rookie quarterback holds back his team. Are the Bears a better team overall right now than the Rams? I think they are. I think they have a better talented roster. But a better quarterback and a better head coach is going to win that game.
Okay.
Sorry, I interrupted you, Sam.
You did.
You're
That's
totally fine. No, it was a good place to interject.
Downsides.
It was a good place to interject. I don't mind it at all. I do like that a lot. Stafford is the kind of guy that it seems like at times I don't want to bet against him, but I find myself betting against Stafford now and then, and that is a guy that finds a way. And in a game where the Bears have kind of struggled a little bit here and there, not exactly 100% what version of that Bears team we're going to see this week. I like the consistency pick with the Rams. I'm a bit of a gambler. I'm going to gamble on an explosive game for the Bears. I'm going to say they covered the 3 spread and win, of course. But
I love it.
They're 0-3 versus the over.
They have struggled highly offensively. I think this is the worst defense they've seen. They're lacking Aaron Donald on that D-line. I think it's a really, really rough D-line, and this could be the D-line that the Bears' offensive line needs to see after some of the matchups that they've had. And
I was just about to talk about the Bears' offensive line. The Bears' offensive line has looked like one of the worst. So DeAndre Swift, new signing for the Bears, was supposed to come in here, be that running back that they needed.
So good last year.
He looks not so good.
Well, I mean, he was on the Eagles.
Every other year, he's averaging between 3.8 and 5.3 yards per carry. This year, you know what he's averaging? 1.8 yards per carry.
Wait, you guys both know that off the top of your dome?
1.8 yards per carry right now. It's bad. He's the least efficient starting running back in the NFL, and it's not because of who he is. Could he make some more plays? Yeah. Is he as dynamic as some guys like Saquon have been, where they're turning something out of nothing? No, he's not giving you those explosive plays. But the Bears' offensive line have not allowed him to do that. If the Bears' offensive line was performing better, and they had a better running back that would take some pressure off of Caleb Williams, I would be much more inclined to take the Bears here. But I don't think Caleb Williams is getting the help that he needed. They focused too much on giving him weapons, not building from the core. And maybe that's me talking as a Steelers fan who you build from inside out. The Steelers get rid of receivers every other year. We don't need perimeter receivers to win the game. We need offensive line, and we need a good run game. Right. And that's what we're building. We drafted offensive linemen back to back to back. Yeah, because you build from the inside out. Bears are doing that the other way, and it's not working this year.
All right.
I agree with that. I do agree with that.
But you're going to take the Bears with the points.
That being said, I am going to take the Bears. I am.
I got the Rams.
I think they're also a team that's kind of heard the noise and haven't really been able to, have been able to bounce back from what's happened so far. And I don't think it's that they're not listening. I think they've had really, really tough D-line matchups. And this is the one where, Yeah, that's the biggest thing for me. Like you said, the offensive line has been the worst part of that team so far, and that's leading to a lot of trouble for Caleb Williams.
This week, I could see listening to the outside noise coming in and affecting this game. You come in as Caleb Williams. You come into this NFL draft. You're since Trevor Lawrence, as we talked about that last time, before him, Andrew Luck. Since then, Caleb Williams, the most highly touted quarterback prospect.
Right.
His dad was asking for ownership of the team that drafted him. The NFL was hyping him up. You come in like you're a god on a pedestal. 3 weeks in, guy taken before you just had the best game of his career. What's that do?
It shatters your confidence.
It either does that or it invigorates you.
Wakes you up a little bit.
What happens when a rookie quarterback without an offensive lineman gets invigorated? He's going to start trying to be Patrick Mahomes. He's going to be running around. He's going to be throwing cross-body throws. Whatever the over on his interceptions are, I guarantee you he throws at least one.
All right.
Guaranteed.
Okay. That wraps up the first hour. We've gone through all the 11 o'clock games. We'll hit the 2 o'clock games, Sunday Night Football, and the doubleheader on Monday night in the next hour. We need to take a break. I've got to piss like a racehorse. But we will be back here momentarily.
Long arm of the law.
We are back with Shots and Ladders, your home for gambling, drinking, and degeneracy. Oh, what a good
first hour.
Breaking down the 11 o'clock games. A lot of controversy, a lot of parity. A lot of picks going one way, picks going the other way. Us not agreeing on a whole lot, which is good. I think that's a good thing.
Only one game we all three agreed on.
One game we did all three
which
agree
was
on.
Falcons Saints?
Yeah, we all got
none
Falcons.
of us even felt great about it.
No, that's like you would think when it comes to building the actual ladder parlay.
The
game that everyone agreed on. Let's just put that at the bottom of the ladder. It's like,
that can't be the one, right?
Yeah, I don't know that that's the one.
So
what is that?
Oh, what the fuck?
Oh my god.
What are we working with here? We got a moth? We got big spider? What are we talking about?
Got him.
On the side. Maybe another one for Mothzilla.
That is the biggest moth I have ever seen in my life.
I hit him out of the air with the hockey stick.
Oh.
Okay.
Do we need to restart that? Or
no, we're going to...
That's perfect.
Come back.
We're just going to leave that in.
Just bring us back in.
Just smooth sailing through it.
Woo.
So, yeah, we basically just fought a dragon. I was straight out of Skyrim. I was straight out of Skyrim.
Yeah, you guys might both be the Dragonborn.
Bro, that moth I've never seen a bug so big that its wings couldn't support its weight. Like, it was crashing into the walls of my garage. Like, it looked like a drunk driver. Like,
walls were shaking a little bit. Yeah. I don't think I've ever feared for any of my friends' livelihood as much as I did right then at that 2-minute period. So,
like, everyone's seen like what a sand dollar is. It was probably like 2/3 the size of a sand dollar.
Yeah,
like
that's a good comparison. That's a good player comp.
So
yeah,
great at them.
So, one thing I want to talk about that we haven't talked about as much is your player prop building, your newfound ability for player prop building.
I might be the greatest. Might be the greatest.
Now, I know you're cooking one up for Sunday.
I am.
I want to do a heat check. How far are we in? Are we done? Do we have?
We're not quite done yet. I have got a confident 7 legs so far.
How many legs are we going for?
I'm going for 10. So 10 is my magic number because if I'm going to have a good week, I want to have a great week. I'm not out here trying to make $700. I want to make $1,500, $1,600.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So I got 3 more legs that I'm still cooking on. Okay. I'll hit them after by the time we're done with the Sunday night games, I'll have the other 3 locked. But I am not missing on this. You give me this many games to pick from, I'm not missing.
Okay, I love it. That sounds like one to tail. Let's power forward into the afternoon games, starting off with a game that probably won't be gracing my television, is the Patriots going into San Francisco playing the 49ers. I don't think I'm going to watch any Patriots games this year unless it's primetime because it's the only football on, and I will be watching every single primetime football game this year because it's football. And we got to remember there's only 18 weeks 17 weeks of the regular season, you take in the byes, and then we have playoffs, and then when football's gone, life is not as good, Sam. Life is tough.
Ain't that the
when we
truth?
don't have football.
Ain't that the, pardon my French, freaking truth, ain't it?
It is the freaking truth. And you have to soak up every game, even if it's a shitty Giants-Dallas game on September 25th, primetime Thursday night football. You got to watch it. You got to soak it in because it's not going to be here forever.
Daniel Jones.
Now, with that being said,
time, man,
he looked good. I mean, he was underthrowing.
He did look much better.
I'm just being a hater now, honestly, because that's like his thing is overthrowing, and he was just underthrowing. Like I can't remember who it was. I think it was either Wan'Dale Robinson or Malik Neighbors, but he ran a whip route, and the corner was probably 3 yards off to the side of him, and Danny Dimes throws the ball inside shoulder. So he's running the whip, he turns, cuts, and he's running to the sideline, but then he has to turn around to make the catch on the inside shoulder, and then he gets tackled, and it's a 2-yard gain. If that ball is, while he's running already to the sideline, if that's in stride and he catches that, it could have been a 25-yard gain.
Yeah.
And Janie was just like, my wife, Janie, she's a big football fan. She's like, what was that play call? And I'm like, actually, the play call was kind of sweet. The throw was missed. It was a completion, but you got to hit him in stride on that. Anyways, Danny Dimes is underthrowing all day long. But point being, we got to take in those games. We got to love them. So we got to love the Patriots-Niners game.
Ain't that the truth?
In San Francisco, Niners are getting
the best wide receiver in the NFL play this game. Jawan Jennings.
Jawan Jennings. I don't think
talk about someone that just absolutely takes over team when they need it the most.
Well, they got Deebo Samuel back. They also have George Kittle back for this.
Still officially questionable.
They're going to have Deebo
Kittle is back.
Kittle is back. Patriots are coming in with Jacoby Brissett obviously starting with a pretty stout defense. They've obviously not looked great. They got blown out by the Jets on Thursday Night Football last week. I don't want to give my takes yet. I want to hear you guys out. Sam, how are you feeling?
Oh, we're starting with me here. All right. I'm going to start with the crazy one. Now, I was no more than a viewer week 1. And so, of course, it's hindsight. You're going to hate it. The take I didn't agree with was the Bengals over the Patriots week 1. They were missing Jamar. They were missing T. Higgins. It's a new Patriots coaching staff. I thought maybe things could be a bit questionable week 1, and sure enough, the Patriots ended up coming on top. This will be my craziest take of the night.
In hell that you thought the Patriots were going to beat the Bengals week 1.
I truthfully, I know no one can believe it. I truthfully believed that the Patriots had a good shot this week. Now here I am saying it ahead of schedule, and this one could really, really bite me. I actually like the Patriots this week against the 49ers. I know that's a bit crazy. I think that Jawan Jennings just had his career game, and I would be shocked if he came anywhere close to it. And I will admit that there's bias involved here. I am not a fan of Brock Purdy. And this year, it's not as cool to be on the Brock Purdy hate train as it was last year, but I felt like the narratives were kind of forced down my throat a little bit, put a bad taste in my mouth. So I'm a bit of a Niners hater, but I am actually going to go Patriots on this one. Before I even say that, what is the spread that we're looking at here? How much are the Niners favored by? It's in San Fran. 8.5.
10.5 points in San Fran.
10.5.
And the over-under is only 41.
40.5
Oh,
is
really?
what I got.
Oh, yeah.
Me?
I was looking at the wrong sheet here. Yeah, 40.5.
Me personally here, I'm going to go with the Patriots to cover the spread, and I'm going to go with the over as well, me personally.
I like Patriots with the spread and the under. I am riding the 6-point underdogs being 12-1 train until things start to change. I don't know where the money is, but I'm assuming most of the money's on the Niners. There's a lot of money in San Francisco.
Well, about that.
About that.
I just want to hear. This is the weirdest breakdown of money that I have found in the NFL to date. And we've looked at this every single week. This is the weirdest spread as far as the bets go. According to the spread, so spread bet, 70% of the money is on the Niners, 30% is on the Patriots. Sounds reasonable, right?
Yeah, give me the Patriots.
Money line. You talk about money line money. Percentage of the money that is placed. 58% of the money is on the 49ers. Only 58%. Despite 95% of the bets being on the 49ers.
So the big money's on the Patriots.
5% of the bets are on the Patriots, but 42% of the money. Every single big-time bettor that is betting money line in this game is betting New England to cover.
Wow.
That's and could be a result of not many people taking the Miners money line because it's not a big payout.
The Miners and money line?
Oh, no, fuck. The 49ers money line, because it's not a huge payout, they're going to be very heavy home favorites, so you're not going to get as big of a result if you take the money line. But that amount of a difference between the spread and the money line and the bets placed and the money placed kind of scares me a little bit. And Vegas hates big-time bettors. Give me the San Francisco 49ers to cover that 10.5 point spread.
I don't see it. Sam, you're on the Patriots?
I am on the Patriots. Side note, side bet here. Patriots to win. Side bet. Money line.
What? I don't hate sprinkling a small bet on there, but not as part of our giant parlay.
Of course.
I'll take this one with a slap bet. Patriots
with the 10.5?
Plus 10.5 slap bet.
I don't think I will. I'm not that confident in this game. I'm not that confident in this game. I'm doing it. I'm doing it to add some parity, and because I don't know.
Can I hear your doubts on the Niners?
My what?
Your doubts on the Niners.
Yeah, lost 2
Any
games
particular reason you're a little bit nervous about it?
Being lost. Wow, I can't speak. Losing 2 games in a row and then coming out as 10.5 point favorites. Don't love that at all.
Great.
But I have so much anti-confidence in the Patriots. I have confidence in the Patriots to be able to lose any game to any team in the entire NFL by 10 points.
Okay.
That I'm still going to ride the Niners with the spread.
That's fair.
I like the under on this one, by the way, Sam.
What did I take over? I did take over, didn't I? Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the under as well. I see where you're coming from. It's a tough one to call.
Okay.
What's the next game?
Moving on to the next game, we're going to talk about one of the best rookie quarterbacks we've seen in a while coming into a team that has played much better than their 1-2 record shows. And I don't blame their fans for hiding behind a whiteboard where you can't even see them. Because the Arizona Cardinals have the Washington Commanders coming in, and they're coming in as 3.5 point favorites, the Cardinals are. 3.5 points is pretty good. Let's take it to you first, Sam, because obviously we're going to get a lot of very strong opinions from the other side of the table here in just a second. So I want to hear your thoughts. Commanders coming in after destroying the Bengals, looking like they have a generational rookie quarterback. The offense was flowing. Austin Eckler is out. Should we do one? You know who filled in for him?
Who filled in for him? Let me hear it.
Jeremy McNichols.
Boise and he did pretty well, too. He did pretty well with what he's seen.
He had minimal touches. I think he touched the ball, like 3 or 4 times, so it wasn't anything crazy. He was only in the game for a couple plays. But Austin Eckler is out. Brian Robinson is leading the charge for the Commanders, going into a Cardinals team that definitely should not be 1-2. They are a much higher. They performed very well. One of the things I will spit out there real quick, since the year 2000, out of the 14 games they have played, the Cardinals have only beat the Commanders 3 times. Throwing that out there, but I want to hear your thoughts on this. But first, Boise State shot. Shout out Jeremy McNichols. Boise State. There it is. That was much better than I did.
Heaven's sake, I dare say, Pete's sake. As a matter of fact, this is a tough game. I agree that I don't know if the Cardinals should be 1-2 right now, and I'll even go as far as to say, I mean, in the offseason, I will admit I was a Cardinals doubter, which is silly because I absolutely love Kyler Murray. and I think that guy's a complete game breaker. There's not even 3 quarterbacks in the league getting away from pressures like he does and turning broken plays into big gains and touchdowns.
Fair. That's right.
Man, I like Cardinals. I do like Cardinals. I really do. I think the Commanders have looked really good. Jaden Daniels has looked very, very good, but I feel like this could be the week that the well runs out a little bit. I think the Cardinals are probably pretty upset that they've lost some close games, some games that I felt like they deserved to win. So Give me the Cardinals here. That's who I'm taking.
Okay.
Colson.
But aside from that, I have been extremely impressed with Jaden Daniels. I just got to say it again. I actually was a bit of a doubter of Jaden Daniels coming out of the draft. You go watch his tape. His whole tape is nothing but 9 balls the whole game to Malik Neighbors and to Brian Thomas. And so I didn't know if he could throw anything else besides that. It was kind of scary. I wanted to see him throw other stuff. They were winning every route last week, and he was hitting every throw. Like, he looked incredible. So I think it's going to be a really, really good game, but I've got the Cardinals.
I'm so excited to watch this game. The Cardinals have looked phenomenal. Much better than the record shows. But the Washington Commanders coming out here, Jaden Daniels being as good as he has been. Brian Robinson has looked like an absolute dog. Terry McLaurin showed last week why he is back. The Commanders' defense has looked awful. As I said, the Commanders have won 11 out of 14 games. And all that being said, give me the goddamn Arizona Cardinals.
Let's go!
3.5-point spread. They are one of the most underrated teams in the NFL right now and still coming out as 3.5-point dogs.
3.5-point favorites.
They're 3.5-point favorites. I wish more than anything in the world that this was a 2.5-point spread. I don't like a 3.5-point spread.
It's ugly, isn't it?
Makes me disgusted because every one of us could see this game ending 31-28. Cardinals win it.
Yeah,
so easily could the Cardinals win it by just 3 points that it doesn't make me love the spread. But I have trust in Kyler Murray. I have trust in the Cardinals as much as it pains me to be on the same side as you guys because we all know what Colson's about to choose here. But give me the Cardinals minus 3.5.
Give me the
I'm curious. What's he thinking here?
No, I'm just
fuck off.
That's funny. Commanders did look phenomenal against the Bengals. They haven't punted in 2 weeks. You know who else they haven't seen in 2 weeks? Dennis Gardeck. Zaven Collins. They haven't seen. Now, you're talking about Alec Pierce being in the top 3 swaggiest white boys. Dennis Gardeck is going to make that top 3 swaggiest white boys.
Tell me a little something about Dennis here. Let me hear it.
He's a dog.
I'm slightly unaware. I'd love to hear it. I gotta hear about this guy.
He is who the Raiders wanted Max Crosby to be, who I wanted Max Crosby to be through the first 3 weeks of the NFL season. Dennis Gardeck is unbelievable. This guy, and it's not talent, okay? It's not talent. It's not size. It's not speed. It's not the gifts that he was given from God. It's one gift he was given from God, which is the undying will to succeed. He works harder than anybody else. He hustles harder than anybody else. Dennis Gardeck is a long-haired, tattoo-covered stallion of a man who has, he had 3 sacks week 2. He's been unbelievable.
Unstoppable.
Okay? Zaven Collins is great. Mac Wilson Sr. has shown up as one of the best safeties in the league, unexpectedly. It was a pickup that we had that was like, sweet, I'm glad we got Mac Wilson out of free agency. He's been unbelievable. Budda Baker, I'm almost certain leads all safeties in the league in tackles for loss. He flies out of the backfield and tackles running backs on zone read plays behind the line of scrimmage consistently. He is incredible.
As a Steelers fan, he's the closest thing to Troy Polamalu in the NFL right now.
I agree. I think Budda Baker's phenomenal. Now, Jaden Daniels, we don't have the best secondary. We don't have the best corners, I guess. We have great safeties. We don't have the best corners. Jaden Daniels was phenomenal against the Bengals, but I really, really, really don't love the Bengals defense. I think Lou Anarumo, even though he's a legendary defensive coordinator, he hasn't had his fastball this year. And honestly, the Bengals are always off to a slow start. I think that has a lot to do with it. I could see the Bengals going 10-3, I could see them going 0-4 in the first 4 weeks and then ending 10-3 and having a 10-7 season and making the playoffs out of the AFC North. Like sounds like something the Bengals would do and Joe Burrow would do.
Yeah.
As you can tell, the drinks are flowing.
What am I doing?
Starting out 0-4 and ending up 10-3.
He's saying the next 13 games.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was wait a second.
They caught me for a second too, but I got
how did they? I didn't hear that second part. I didn't hear the 10-7. I heard 10-3. I was like, how did they get rid of a loss?
They go 10-3 and 10-7.
Sorry,
yeah.
I judged.
Yeah, as you can tell, the drinks are flowing. So Kyler Murray and the Cardinals are back at State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. Kyler Murray is coming off of a disappointing loss to the Lions where he didn't look great, and that doesn't piss anyone off more than it pisses off Kyler Murray. He hates losing. He fucking hates losing. He didn't lose in high school.
Never loses in Call of Duty.
That is the truth.
Oh my God.
I bet his KD is above 2. I guarantee it.
Shut the fuck up. And he won. He won at Oklahoma. He won the Heisman at Oklahoma. He doesn't like losing. He's going to come out and play probably his second best game of the season. His first best, one of the best games by any quarterback ever. They shipped his jersey off to the Hall of Fame after his Week 2 win against the Rams because no quarterback has ever had 250 passing yards, 50 rushing yards, and a perfect passer rating, except for one. But Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals are going to win this game. They're going to win it steadily. The hype for Jaden Daniels and the hype for the Commanders is going to die quite a bit. I think it'll come back. I think they're a good team. And this was one of the games on the schedule that I circled as like thank God we play the Commanders Week 4 because we started with the Rams, the Lions, and Week 1 we had
the Bills.
Like we started with a brutal schedule and then we get the Commanders Week 4. Yay, thank God. Now it's turned into like oh my God, this is a tough game. It's not going to be that tough. I think we're going to win by 7 or more. And I'm extremely excited to watch this game. I think this is one of the best games. Aside from just being a Cardinals fan, anybody that's a football fan is going to look at this game on Sunday and say, that is a game that I need to have on my television. That's a game that's going to make it into the 4 squares on the YouTube TV NFL Sunday ticket. And they're going to watch Kyler Murray run all over the Commanders defense. I can't wait. I'm so excited. Marvin Harrison Jr., first touchdown scorer in that game. It's going to be phenomenal. Trying to keep it short. I could go on and on and on and on and on.
I'm actually going to ask you to go on a little bit more. I didn't hear enough about Marvin Harrison Jr. I wanted to hear a little bit something more about this guy.
Marvin Harrison Jr.
How are we feeling about the matchup with
We've talked about the noise. We've talked about the noise. Marvin Harrison Jr. is one that hears the noise. Kyler is one that hears the noise. After Week 1 against the Bills, Marvin Harrison Jr. got targeted early and did not perform. He had a back shoulder throw from Kyler Murray that was an easy pitch and catch, and Marvin just doesn't turn around. It's like, this is something. It's a rookie wide
miscommunication,
receiver.
Perhaps.
He's learning, right? Then you come out Week 2, same throw, back shoulder. Marvin turns around, makes the easy pitch and catch, and then he was dominant. Week 2.
Yeah.
Week 3, Kyler went to him a lot, and there was a lot of plays. Kyler targeted him, pretty sure Marvin Harrison had 50% completion versus attempts. I think he was targeted 12 times, caught 6.
Okay.
Of those 12 targets, he should have caught 10 of them. They were hitting him in the hands or they were in the spot and he didn't get to the spot.
Right, in the wrong place.
And Marvin Harrison, all everyone's ever said about Marvin Harrison is the guy's a workhorse. He works his ass off. For him to sit in that room with Drew Petzing, the offensive coordinator, and Jonathan Gannon, the head coach, Kyler Murray, the quarterback, and to watch that tape back and see what he could have done to make the play that he didn't do, it eats him alive. I can't imagine a world where that doesn't just kill him to know that I should have caught that ball. I should have made that play. And so he's going to make the adjustments. They're going to practice that over and over, and it's just going to continue to get better week after week after week. Who the matchup is, do I know who the Commanders' DBs are? No, because they're no.
Hell no.
I'm not worried about
who cares?
who the DBs are. Yeah, Are they going to double team Marvin Harrison Jr. if they're smart? But then we got Michael Wilson and Greg Dortch and Trey McBride, who is the #1 fantasy tight end out there. Like it's just the Cardinals are a dynamic.
Trey McBride is actually out for this game.
Say that again.
Trey McBride is ruled out for this game.
Is that true, Sam?
100%.
I don't care if it's true or not. Give me Marvin Harrison 3 touchdowns against the Washington Commanders.
I'm still taking the Cardinals, but yes, Trey McBride is out for this game.
Okay.
I have him in 3 of my 6 fantasy leagues.
I actually did not know that.
I'm very well aware.
I didn't know that either. But
fuck me.
But thank you. As a Colts fan, I have no choice but to love Marvin Harrison Jr. And I agree. Yeah. The way he bounced back from Week 1, for example, like you said, bit of a tough game.
What's he?
Not completing 50% of the throws to him. I think he bounces back too this week. I think they have a good game.
Concussion last week.
Thanks, Sam. I agree with you. I think I take the Cardinals. I take Marvin Harrison over receptions, over yards, over touchdowns, and I take him having the first touchdown of this game. Let's move on to. Hey, we all agreed on that one.
We did.
Cool. Yeah, we did. And again, not as much like the Falcons Saints, but I'm not 100% confident in it just because I think it'll be such a good game. I could see it going either way.
I'm still,
but I do like the Cardinals. I'm going Cardinals.
If it was a 3 flat, I would love it because at a 3-point
wash, the spread's just tough.
But I don't love that 3.5. That little hook on the end, it scares me every time.
We have the Chiefs going to Los Angeles playing the Chargers. Chargers are getting 7 points at home against the Chiefs, possibly without Justin Herbert.
Yep. So Chargers are really banged up. So looking on the injury report right now, Herbert is out. He's really the only Herbert's questionable, and Joe Alt is questionable.
Joe Alt's not playing.
They're both dealing with Joe Alt's dealing with a knee, Herbert's dealing with an ankle.
He had an MCL sprain, didn't he?
On the other side of their offensive line, I'm not sure exactly what it was, but I know he got hurt. On the other side of their offensive line, though, Rashawn Slater, the first-round pick from, was it last year or 2 years ago? He's been ruled out. Joey Bosa has been ruled out. Chargers are missing some key players here. Chiefs don't have a single person on that injury report.
Wow.
They're sitting good. They got a backup defensive end is questionable is the only player I'm seeing on here.
The Chiefs are the Chiefs. Give me the Chiefs -7. Looking at a boat race here, I think. It is a Jim Harbaugh-led football team, which, I mean, if you just watch that guy talk in his press conferences, he's unbelievable. He's such a good football coach. But I see the Chiefs winning literally by 8. I see the Chiefs winning the game by 8 points.
Sam?
Oh, it's a big spread, 7.5 points, but Chargers are really banged up, especially if there's no Herbert. Give me the Chiefs.
If there's no Herbert, chalk it up as a 21-point loss.
Yeah, absolutely. But
because then you have what?
Even with the potential of Herbert playing, like you said, I think it's a Harbaugh-led Michigan Chargers team. It's gonna be run heavy. Chiefs have a really good D line, let alone the whole defense aside, but. Yeah, no, give me the Chiefs. I'll take the Chiefs to cover. It's a big spread, but I don't know. I think that's a pretty confident one actually for a 7.5 point spread.
Interesting
so
stat.
The Chiefs are 3-0 this year. They're playing out of their mind. Every single Chiefs game that they won, and give them credit, they won the games. As a Steelers fan who wins games at the end of the game every day, not going to take anything away from them.
You're never going to apologize for a win.
The Chiefs have won every single game by a last-second play. Week 1, Isaiah Likely, by a half of an inch is how they won that. That goes to overtime. The Ravens had all of the momentum. Ravens probably win that game.
Yeah.
Week 2 against the Bengals, who everyone was like, oh, the Bengals are starting off so slow. Pass interference on the Bengals. On a semi-questionable pass interference, mind you.
It was pass interference.
Chiefs get the pass interference, kick a field goal to win it. Last week, Falcons, 4 plays in the red zone. Stop them every time. Great for them. 2 of those were either missed throws or dropped catches. Falcons could have won that game. The Chiefs are not the same Chiefs as they have been every year. Am I taking anything away from them? No. Are they still, in my mind, the probable Super Bowl favorites? Yes. They're the Chiefs. They have the refs playing for them as well. It's hard to bet against them. But the Chargers, divisional game, coming in with a full touchdown spread. J.K. Dobbins has looked absolutely amazing. This Chargers offense is not as bad as the Steelers defense last week made them look. Quentin Johnson was one of my favorite underdog picks in most fantasy leagues. Yep. I talked about it before all of our drafts. I drafted him in most leagues. He's got 3 touchdowns through 2 games. He is their clear number 1 wide receiver. Herbert, if Herbert is back, the Chargers +7 is one of my favorite bets of the week. Still him being questionable. He's a tough guy. He's a competitor. I think he's going to play. I am going to take the Chargers +7. And with that, I'm also going to take the over.
I like the under. Chargers are 0-3. They've gone under in every single game that they've played.
It's pretty hard to hit Chiefs a -7 plus an under. You're going to take a team to beat someone by 7 points. It's usually a high-scoring game.
I like the Chiefs.
I'm throwing that out there.
I know. I get it out there. The more you talk, and the 6-point dogs.
If it was 6.5,
don't listen to
I'd probably be much more likely to take.
I don't know, Sam. I'm starting to get a little worried about it.
That's my prediction.
I agree that he made some great points. He definitely made some great points.
Here's the other thing: 80% of that money on the money line, despite the Chiefs being 7-point dogs, and despite those being such bad odds, 80% of that money is on the Chiefs.
Chiefs are 7-point favorites, not dogs.
I keep saying dogs. Chiefs are 7-point favorites. That means the odds of you winning a bet are high, but the money that you make on them are low. Only 6% of the bets money line are on the Chargers, despite it being 20% of it. So if Vegas wants to make 80% of the money placed on this game, the Chargers are going to win the game in their mind, which means even if they don't, I think they keep it close. No team is perfect, and a divisional game in LA, give me the Chargers +7.
Give me the Chargers confident. I'm agreeing with you.
You're switching as well.
I swayed your mind.
Okay. You changed me.
Everyone can watch. That is the first time this entire show I've switched your mind in my favor. I usually switch your mind against me. You usually switch to fade me. That's huge. That's huge. Yeah,
I
Chargers
will say
+7.
+7. I will say that you made some great points. With that being said, I will also say Chiefs. I'll stick with the Chiefs.
That. I like it.
I could definitely see it going either way. It's a bit of a tough one to call. It's also very dependent on whether or not Herbert plays, and that guy's a dog. He's going to play in every game he possibly can. That guy plays through a broken hand every year, it seems like. But
he seems like the kind of person that's going to stay on this injury report for 4 weeks and still play every
week.
But maybe leave if he's getting hurt during games like he did last week against Pittsburgh. He's going to be maybe leaving the game end of the third quarter, start of the fourth, and Heineke's going to have to come in. But he's gonna start every single game. He is too big of a competitor not to. But now, moving on to the game that, in my mind, it is the most 50-50 toss-up this entire week. I want nothing to do with this game.
Yeah.
I don't want to touch this game.
We have a good friend of ours from our high school days, Trigonometry Trey.
Yes.
Cleveland Browns are traveling to Las Vegas.
I thought we were talking about a different game here, to be honest with you. Okay.
No.
Okay.
Trigonometry Trey's Browns are traveling to Las Vegas to take on the Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders are getting 2 points at home against the Browns team that has been extremely underwhelming.
That's exactly the word I was going to use as well, as underwhelming. Yeah. I expected a lot more.
Yeah, I did too. Deshaun Watson has looked like shit.
Before we go into this too much, I want to read out the injury report for this game.
Go ahead.
Just because this is going to change so many things for it, and this is why it makes me so scared to pick either team. So the Browns, 2-point favorites.
Okay.
Guys, what's the most important position on the offensive line?
Left tackle.
The left tackle.
Perfect. Both tackles. Both tackles are ruled out. Okay. Browns have 0 left tackles starting this game that are starting. Tight end. David Njoku, out. Backup running back, out. Starting linebacker, Jordan Hicks, out. Or questionable. That's the Browns. Raiders. Who's the Raiders' best player?
Max Crosby.
Max Crosby. Ankle injury, as of right now, doubtful. Who's their second best player?
On the Raiders'
Adams.
second best
Out.
player?
Devontae Adams is out.
Devontae Adams is out. Michael Mayers,
okay.
out. Divine Diablo, out. Max Crosby is doubtful.
Oh.
Amir Abdullah, their backup running back, or third-string running back, is doubtful as well. These are two of the most banged-up teams in the NFL. And I don't love it because everything in me wants to pick against the Browns because the Browns are that bad. But the Raiders being without probably their two best players because it's looking like Max Crosby is not going to play right now. This report shows him as doubtful, but I've heard from many people that it's most likely he's not going to play. Devontae Adams, not playing. I have zero trust in either of these offenses. I have zero trust in either of these defenses. I want absolutely nothing to do with this game. So this is going to be a spite pick based on my Browns hatred. I'm going to take the Raiders +2, but I'm not betting a single dollar on either of these teams on any of these spreads.
Hey, Sam, how did the Raiders do last week?
The Raiders last week did not do very freaking good, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. That was a very difficult loss to the Panthers, who had Andy Dalton back, but
2 weeks,
man, that one hits
week
deep.
before that, they beat Lamar Jackson and the Ravens.
And how
That's
does Gardner Minshew do in bounce back games?
Well, you're asking the right guy how Gardner Minshew does in bounce back games, and I'm going to tell you the right answer as well. There is no specific particular answer. That guy, you don't know what version of Gardner Minshew you're getting every single week, but I can tell you that Gardner Minshew is going to be playing against Myles Garrett. He is going to feel that guy. This is the type of guy. I love Gardner Minshew. I'll say that first. I really do love Gardner Minshew. That guy feels pressure that's not even there. That guy is like panicking in the pocket when he's in no danger whatsoever, and he is going to be in danger every single play against Myles Garrett, missing his number one weapon, Devontae Adams. Trigonometry Trey, I know that you're watching right now. I would have actually taken the Browns +2 despite the injuries. But I'm definitely going with Browns this week. All I need Deshaun to have is a somewhat decent week this week. Don't be completely terrible this week, and I think that's a Browns win. That's what I think.
You want to talk about an absolute lock of a bet. Deshaun Watson under rushing yards. Came out in a public interview. We have teams with quarterbacks that are putting their life on the line. Deshaun Watson has been one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL through 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Obviously the most hated quarterback in the NFL through 3 weeks.
By massage therapists.
All the time, the Browns are still sticking with him, still making him their starting quarterback, still standing behind him, and he comes out and he says, I don't want to run the ball. I don't want to get hurt. You want to talk about an absolute bitch of a person that should not be fucking playing football? Get him out of the league. Get him out of my goddamn division. I hope somebody hits him with a bus. It would be the best case scenario for the NFL as a whole. For the best case scenario as the NFL as a whole is he never suits up for another game. Deshaun Watson under rushing yards. I hope he has a terrible game. That's why I'm rooting for the Raiders. Fuck Deshaun Watson.
R.I.P. Dwayne Haskins. And
if you want to root for him, Sam, go for it. But
so let's not rope me in with specifically Deshaun Watson's demographic. I would say I wouldn't really relate myself to that guy very much.
I would.
In fact,
I
don't hope that he does amazing. But if that guy does half decent, then he could potentially win the game. I
will say the Browns overall are a better team than the Raiders.
They've got a really good defense. I will say. They haven't necessarily played to their potential so far, but
the Browns also just lost to the Giants last week. You want to talk about a bad team?
Yeah,
the Giants are a bad team. If they're already losing one bad team, why can't we make it two?
Their projection a little bit, I would say. I think everyone thought Malik Nabers was pretty good. I don't know if anyone thought Malik Nabers would be this good. I seriously doubt a lot of people thought he'd be this good right off the bat. And
he's phenomenal.
Browns have come out really slow. Giants have actually come out kind of hot a little bit, I think. But I think the
they
Browns
just
are
lost
just
to the
about
1 and
sick of
2
it. I think they play
Cowboys.
pretty physical this game.
Let's give me the Raiders.
Attaboy.
Okay.
Fuck the Browns.
I like the vibes. Even though a home game in Las Vegas is never really a home game because Las Vegas is the most travelable to state. Like if your team is playing in Vegas, what game should we go to this year? Well, let's go to the game against the Raiders because it's in Vegas. Never going to have a true home game, but Gardner Minshew has a sweet mustache. Gardner Minshew bounces back.
He certainly does.
Give me the Raiders. The over-under is 36.5. That's the lowest.
Really?
That is
the lowest of the week. Tied for the lowest of the week with the Titans and the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Yeah. Missing a lot of high-key starters offensively, especially this week.
And defensively.
And defensively.
I hammer the over here.
I would actually bet the over as well, just because I think 2 bad offenses and 2 bad defenses. It's going to go one of 2 ways. This game's either going to easily hit the under or easily hit the over. It's not going to get anywhere near it. I would lean towards the over, just because I think the offensive pieces have just enough that they can make some magic happen.
Okay.
You know what's hard is there's only 4 afternoon games on Sunday, and if you don't want to watch the Patriots and you don't want to watch the Browns-Raiders game, then you have to go split screen Commanders, Cardinals, Chiefs, Chargers, and the split screen you get as much viewing, like the resolution's the same as it is when it's in the 4-piece.
We're going to be watching all 4.
We're going to
have not wanting to watch 2 of them.
We have to watch all 4. We have to watch all 4, which does suck. That even convinces me more to hammer the over of the Browns-Raiders game, just to hope that it's like a fun game.
Something exciting.
It's the only exciting thing to watch for is hopefully 2 bad offenses can. Maybe Deshaun Watson will think one of the receivers in the end zone is some lady in a massage parlor and actually hit him. So maybe it'll fucking
laugh at your own joke, you fucking
Hey, I gave you a laugh. Don't worry about it, Connor. Connor, I do have a question for you though. Do your absolute best here, okay? To set bias aside for the next 15 seconds. Absolute best to set bias aside for the next 15 seconds. Do you think the Browns have a bad defense?
I do not think the Browns have a bad defense. I think the Browns have a worse defense than what people give them credit for.
See, I will say that they've underplayed their projection. For what they're supposed to be, they have not played to that level at all. They've actually played really bad.
That's what I'm saying is because I think most people in the NFL think of the Browns as a top-tier defense, as a top 8, top 7, whatever you want to do.
Top 5, I would say.
Yeah, people think
on
of them
paper
as
before the first 3 weeks. On paper, I would say top 5.
See, I don't think that they are because you look at their depth. Their depth isn't good. They have Myles Garrett and a couple good corners. They don't have great linebackers. Their best linebacker, you guys took. Their best safety, they don't have one. Grant Delpit's been hurt every other game. The Browns' defense is not as good. People think that the Browns' defense is good because of Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett gives the impression of this just being
Charvarius Ward, too.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. They have 2 good corners. They have Denzel Ward. Denzel Ward and Greg Newsome on the perimeter. They've got good corners and 1 good defensive end. Those are the only good pieces of the Browns' defense. 3 players does not make a defense.
What linebacker did the Cardinals, you said? What linebacker did the Cardinals take?
Mac Wilson.
Oh.
The guy we were hyping up earlier. He was drafted by the Browns a couple years ago. And
Anthony Walker
I loved
Jr.
him coming up.
Former Colt.
Mid.
Lots of injuries. Good player. I would give you mid. I'll give you mid. Owosu Koromoa, we're going to say, is not the best Browns linebacker.
I wouldn't say best. JOK is very good. The Browns' defense as a whole, though, is not as good as people give them credit for. So, will I say they have some of the best players? Yes. Do I think they're as good as people think that they are? No.
That's fair.
All right. Let's move on.
And they have not played like it, so your point looks really good right now.
And that's bias aside. That's me looking at.
But I appreciate that. I believe you. I agree.
Let's go
with bias. I would have said fuck the Browns, and I think they're the worst.
That being said, give me them Browns. Go Dog Pound.
You got the Browns. I got the Raiders. Connor
2 Raiders, 1 Brown.
Okay.
Yep. We're gonna move on to Sunday Night Football. barn burner.
This is the
matchup.
easiest game to
Super
predict
excited.
this week.
It is not the easiest game to pick this week. We have the
This
Bills
I
at
thought was the
Ravens,
hardest game to predict.
minus 2.5. Ravens are getting 2.5 points at M&T Bank.
No, they're giving. Ravens are 2.5 point favorites.
That's right. That's right. Giving 2.5 points.
There is no reason that the best team in the NFL right now should be 2.5 point dogs. The Buffalo Bills easily cover 2.5 point spread.
These two teams are 5-1 versus the over. Give me the over as a lock, but I like the Ravens because if I don't pick the Ravens on this show, I will be sleeping on the couch. And I don't have any good reason other than that. I mean, the Ravens.
The Bills have performed as the best team in the NFL this year.
I agree.
I think this line is completely flipped. I would have no reason, and this would be a 50-50 in my mind, if the Bills came into this as 2.5 point favorites. You give me Bills minus 2.5 and Ravens plus 2.5, I'm 50-50, and I do not know what to do.
Let's ensure that somebody gets slapped on this show next week.
We did one earlier, right?
Yeah, we did 2. Let's make a third.
Did we do 2?
We did 2. Let's
Yeah,
make a third.
Okay.
I got the Ravens.
I got Bills plus 2.5.
Okay.
Easy money.
Ravens,
Easy money.
Bills,
They are the best team in the NFL right now. Josh Allen is the clear-cut MVP if the league were to end after 3 weeks.
I think
which
that
obviously
train
it's not.
runs out of steam. I think they've played really, really well for sure, but it's the Bills. It's Josh Allen. Mistakes are coming. They haven't been made yet, but I think if anybody's going to make Josh Allen make a ton of mistakes, it's going to be the Ravens defense.
The Ravens have made the worst mistake in the NFL. John Harbaugh
They didn't pay
does
Deshaun
not
Watson.
know how to coach
Jesus.
and lead
Hey,
Derrick Henry as a running back.
don't talk about Harbaugh like
He
that.
has not ran with Henry as they should.
Yeah,
Derrick
last
Henry is
week,
not-
bro.
He's coming off his best week, though.
Yeah, and they almost blew a 20-point lead to the Cowboys in the fourth quarter.
It's okay.
You want to talk about his best coaching performance is almost blowing a 20-point lead? If you're talking about that as his best
Oh, no, I
coaching
was talking about
performance,
Derrick
what the
Henry
fuck are we
performance,
doing?
not specifically Harbaugh.
The Ravens as a whole. The Ravens as a whole has not looked good. And don't get me wrong, I was big on the Ravens last week. I have been big on the Ravens. But the Bills acting as the best team in the NFL right now, coming in as 2.5 point dogs as a 3-0 team versus a 1-2 Baltimore Ravens. No, this is the easiest bet of the week in my mind. I don't know how you're feeling, Sam.
Really?
But no,
Okay.
Bills plus 2.5. I will be putting a significant chunk of change on this game.
Okay. I
How
do
would you
like
feel?
the confidence on it. I do. And you did make some good points as well.
That's the nice thing with me is even if I'm wrong, I speak with more confidence than anyone else. I know
Absolutely.
that I'm right. Even if I'm wrong, I know that I'm right.
Hey, and at the end of the day, there's going to be no switching up. Like you said, like you're confident. I love it. I love it. I am not so confident in the Bills. My thing, I've actually been proven wrong by the Bills. I thought the Bills really regressed in the offseason, to be completely honest. They lost a lot of key players, especially on that defense, and then you lose Diggs and Gabe Davis and stuff. I actually, crazy enough, had the Bills missing the playoffs this year, having the Dolphins
Really?
and the Jets finishing above them in that division. And they have absolutely proved me wrong. They're 3-0, like you said. They're looking really good. Pretty rough move on my part to fade Josh Allen, who is the second best quarterback in the league. I mean, that's the thing. Regardless of who they've really got, he's good at getting it done. I also, with that being said, don't think the Ravens should have the record that they've had. I thought week 1 they looked a little bit rough. I thought they've looked good enough to win every week besides that, and they still have the record despite how good they've played. They finally got a
Raiders
little more
lost as
Derrick
well.
Henry usage last week, and he had by far his best game of the season. And aside from that, I don't have too many analytics for you, so much as I have a vibe, and I have a very good vibe with the Ravens winning this week and
You
covering
always
the spread.
have good vibes, Sam.
I'm just kind of a
love the
vibe guy,
Ravens.
man, and
I
that'll
think the
be
Ravens are an
either the
absolute
life or death
lock
of me.
to
But
win. Even as a Steelers fan, I think the Ravens are an absolute lock to win the AFC North. 100%.
Really?
I think the Ravens are going to start 1-3, and the Steelers are going to start 4-0, and the Ravens will still win this division.
wow,
But it will not happen this week. The Bills, Khalil Shakir, which is why we poured these shots.
Khalil Shakir.
Absolute dog. You want to talk about someone that
I didn't.
took
You guys
over the
snuck that one
game.
by me. I didn't even notice.
I
Enjoy
did.
that.
I poured him out while you were talking.
Mm.
That's some Boise State. That is
Legend.
probably
the most significant Boise State player playing in the NFL.
I was going to say he's
Currently,
probably
right
the best
now,
Boise
huh?
State player in the
until
NFL.
Ashton Genty comes out next year.
Until Ashton
Yeah.
Genty.
It was
Man, I've been
Leighton
waiting to
Vander
talk
Esch
about
for-
him.
Well, we still have DeMarcus Lawrence, who
Khalil
Oh,
Shakir is more relevant than Lawrence. Lawrence is still probably a better individual player than Shakir, but as far as like relevance, because I mean, you talk about the fantasy community, people are going to
Yeah.
value quarterbacks, running backs, receivers, and tight ends over any defensive player or any offensive lineman forever. It's just going to happen because of
I
fantasy.
agree.
DeMarcus Lawrence is on his downside. He's what, 33, 34 now?
I have no idea. But
He's,
if you're
he's
just
pretty old.
if you're
He's
just
pretty
talking
old.
ball, if you're just talking ball, fantasy aside, I think DeMarcus Lawrence. If you were to put
I still
best,
think it's a 50.
best Boise State players in the NFL right now, DeMarcus Lawrence takes one. Khalil Shakir is a close
I
second.
still don't even know. I don't know. It's about 50-50 for me who I would pick.
I find
because
myself-
Lawrence is on the down. Lawrence is on a downgrade. Khalil Shakir is on an upgrade.
Khalil Shakir is.
I guarantee you by
Up
the
and
end
to
of
the
the year we will
could
talk about.
could very
Khalil
well
Shakir
change
being
by
the
the end
best.
of the season as well. Lawrence,
It's gonna
looked like
change
he
by
had
the
some
end of
sort
this
of foot
week.
injury at the
When
end of last
Khalil
game. He could
Shakir
miss some time.
Dominates.
Yeah, he hurt the arch of his foot in some
Yeah.
way.
But no, give me
metatarsal.
give me Ravens plus 2.5 easy. You're taking Baltimore 2.5.
You have- I have Baltimore minus 2.5.
Yeah, Baltimore minus 2.5. Sam, who are you taking?
You have
I'm
Ravens
going to go
plus
Ravens
2.5?
as well here.
No, I have Bills plus 2.5. you
Okay,
have Ravens
you
minus.
said Ravens.
Oh, I might have
Not
messed that
only
up.
do I think Ravens win the game, I think they send a message and win by a sizable amount.
Okay.
I agree with you.
As
Let's
crazy
move on
as
to
that sounds
Monday
with
night.
how well the Bills have looked. But
Yeah, it is
that's
crazy.
the vibe. Vibe of the week.
Vibe of the week. Love it.
Vibe of the week is the over in that game.
VOW.
That's a fucking. You want to talk about a lot.
Oh, the over.
Let's talk about a
These
lot.
two teams are 5-1 versus the
What
over.
What is the
This
over
game
for
is-
this one?
46.5. This game's going to go to
Seems
60
low.
points. This
Yeah.
is going
Yeah,
to be like
give
a
it to 'em.
35-31 game.
I agree.
Yeah.
Monday
Like, I
night
would be-
doubleheader.
That square right there. We want to talk about something that beats that square for us. It's that over. We can get to that in a little bit.
That
but-
makes me way less confident. in that over.
Fuck.
And
I
whatever
have
goes
it.
in that, I don't even want to look at what's in that square. I want you to
Honestly,
write it
actually,
without
no.
me.
You know what? I'm going to choose a good one in there. That's a guaranteed win that you guys will actually like. We're not going to worry about that game in there.
Okay.
But guaranteed.
Monday night doubleheader, the shitty game of the week, Titans at Dolphins. I need to know, I have to know if Tyler Huntley is playing in this game or not. Because if Tyler
Yeah.
Huntley's not playing in this game, if they trot Tim Boyle out to play quarterback for the Miami Dolphins, give me the Titans by 1,000,000. But if they trot out Tyler Huntley, I see the Dolphins covering the 1-point favor that they have at home in Miami. This is the tied for the lowest under or over-under spread of the week with the Browns Raiders at 36.5. Tennessee is 0-3 against the spread. Funny enough, Miami is also 0-3 against the spread through the first 3 weeks. Neither of these teams have won a game against the spread. It literally comes down to whether or not the Miami Dolphins trot out Tyler Huntley, and that is why my pick is fluid. If it's Tim Boyle, give me the Titans. If it's Tyler Huntley, give me the Dolphins. That's all I have to say about the matter.
Yeah.
Sam?
You know, I do agree with that. I think, you know what? Actually, Skylar Thompson got hurt. So remind
He's
me
out.
his name.
Tim Boyle.
Who? Boyle. Thank you, Tim Boyle. Yeah. I agree. I think it is really dependent. They send Tim Boyle out there. I definitely think they lose. They send Tyler Huntley out there. I definitely think they win. Titans defense has actually looked, putting bias aside here, Titans defense has actually looked a lot better than I expected them to this year. Their offense has looked just about as bad, if not worse, as I expected them to this year. That good defense, I don't think it matters when you play, in my opinion, the most explosive offense in the league, which is the Dolphins. The problem is you just need somebody that's going to put the ball in those explosive guys' hands. And I do think that if Tyler Huntley plays, then he can do that. They got him Wednesday of the week that they had that game, and it's a really complex playbook. McDaniel does a lot of crazy stuff, lots of motions, lots of different looks, and so probably didn't have enough time to get used to that playbook. But with a week and a half, I do think he'll probably be a little bit more confident with it, and they probably play him. So I would take the Dolphins here.
Here's a take, Connor. Sorry, I know it's your turn, but here's a take. Mike McDaniel has watched Matt LaFleur take his offense, the Packers, and take Malik Willis into his offense with the Packers and dumb it the fuck down. and just say,
Yeah.
what are you good at? What are you bad at? Let's do what you're good at, and let's win football games. There's no way Mike McDaniels brings in Tyler Huntley after being with the program for 10 days and says, I need you to do exactly what Tua Tagovailoa does. He's going to say, okay, Tyler, let's figure out what you're good at, and let's do that. And if that's what happens, if it's a perfect world and that's what happens, which is what should happen if you're a Miami Dolphins fan, the Dolphins are fine, I think. I mean, they're just – I think that's like a parallel scenario with Malik Willis and the Packers, Tyler Huntley and the Dolphins. Tyler Huntley's a baller. I mean, he was phenomenal at Utah. He had a bit of a Heisman run before he got injured, and he's played great for the Ravens. If you just put that guy in your offense and you say, okay, let's dumb it down, let's make it more simple, let's figure out how to get you to put the ball into the hands of the playmakers that you have on your team, which you have a lot. You have a lot, more than anybody else. And if we can do that, if Mike McDaniel has the ability to kind of put his ego to the side and just say, yeah, we're not going to run this flashy, crazy shit. We're just going to get the ball in the hands of our playmakers. And Tyler Huntley is going to rush for 50 yards. They should win the game. If they don't win this game, I say it's coaching malpractice. Give me the Dolphins -1, which actually flip-flops on what I picked earlier today, but the more I've thought about it, give me the Dolphins. If Tyler Huntley plays, if Tim Boyle plays, burn the entire building in Miami to the ground.
I do like the point. Forgive me, Connor. I'm gonna jump ahead again as well myself. But
go for it.
I that's something I kind of overlooked. But McDaniel is a super smart coach, especially offensively. And I like that. Like you said, whether it's dumbing it down or whether it's just changing it and going a different direction, he's really, really good at adapting to what personnel he has to work with. And so maybe you see a different look at offense this week. But like you said, I agree with that. Again, just him being able to adapt the offense to what Huntley brings and them being able to have success. So I just wanted to add that, but please.
So I agree with everything you guys have said. I think when Tyler Huntley takes over this team, it is going to be the Dolphins are going to be back, because I think that Mike McDaniel has that ability to change his offense based around what his quarterback is good at. And their best quarterback right now is Tyler Huntley. But this is the NFL.
Here we go.
The NFL is the Dolphins are not going to start Tyler Huntley this week, as much as I wish they would, because if they did, if the Dolphins start Tyler Huntley, I take the Dolphins here. But I would bet you a shot at the start of the next episode. I would bet both of you guys that Tim Boyle is going to be the starting quarterback, unless Skylar Thompson's back. Tyler Huntley will not start over Tim Boyle.
Forbid.
As much as I wish that he would. Everything in me wishes that the Dolphins would win this and that the Dolphins would roll out Tyler Huntley. But the Dolphins are going to start Tim Boyle, who is terrible. Through his entire career, he has thrown 4 touchdown passes to 12 interceptions. The Titans will 100% win this game because Tim Boyle will start. Give me Tennessee +1.
Okay, so you're banking on the fact that Tim Boyle is going to start. Now, if Tyler Huntley starts, does your opinion change or does it stay the same?
As sad as it is, it stays the same. Okay. Tennessee +1.
Okay. I actually like that more, though. If you're going to take the Titans, I like that more. I do.
Because I'm betting on either. It's a 50-50. So 50-50 matchup if Huntley starts, 100% guaranteed if Boyle starts. So I'm taking that 75% odds. You guys have your 25%. You guys have your 25%.
If Huntley starts.
But last game, one of the games, I don't know about you guys, this is one of the games that I am personally more excited to see than any other game in the NFL this year. I think this week. This game, this Monday night game, is going to be so much fun to watch. Seattle going into Detroit. Detroit is getting 3.5 points. Favorites.
They're giving 3.5.
Okay, I don't know the terminology. Seattle +3.5. Detroit -3.5. Who do you guys have?
So Seattle's preseason happened to go a little bit longer than everybody else's.
Mm-hmm.
Seattle's preseason went about 3 weeks longer than everybody else's.
Yeah.
They're 3-0. They haven't had to really show up against a good team. This is their first test I watched the Lions do what they did against the Cardinals last week, and I see the Lions winning this game. I just don't see them winning it by more than 3 points. Give me the Seahawks plus 3.5. I think it's going to be a bit of a gong show, if you will. It's going to be a high-scoring game. I think Geno Smith and Jared Goff are both going to have phenomenal games. I'm starting Jared Goff in one of my fantasy leagues, so I really, really hope he has a good game. But I don't see this being a low-scoring affair, and I don't see it being one team beating another team by more than a few points. Give me the Seahawks plus 3.5. Give me the over on 46 points. Even though Detroit is 0-3 versus overs, I think this is the one where because they're going to rise to the occasion, and Seattle's going to score points.
Yeah.
Give me the over. Give me the Seahawks. I don't have a lot of reasoning other than vibes, honestly, Sam. I'm kind of taking a page out of your playbook. But
hey, when the vibes
I
are
like
on,
Geno
on.
Smith. I like the Seahawks. I think they're 3-0 for a reason, even though it has been a preseason for them up to this point. I think, and I hate to say this because I love Dan Campbell. I think he's awesome as a person. Yeah. I think he's awesome. Just the way he coaches his teams. I think he, above any other player on the Lions, is going to find a way to lose the game. As unfortunate as that is.
For one of the very, very few times of this year, I'm 100% with you on both of those picks.
Wow.
I'm a big believer in the eye test versus the standings.
Yeah.
And I think eye test shows that the Lions and the Seahawks are both worthy of being 3-1. For that reason, I think the Lions win this. I think the Seahawks lose this. But I'm never going to bet against a 3-0 team that's a 3.5-point dog.
Yeah.
You're 3-0 for a reason. They're well coached. Their offense is humming. They've played some subpar opponents, and I think the Lions win this. But I think they win this at the end. I'm going to tail you 100%. I'm going to take the Seahawks plus 3.5, and I'm hammering the over.
So that's something that hasn't been talked about. Sam, do you happen to know where Mike Macdonald comes from? Head coach of the Seattle Seahawks, Mike Macdonald. Do you know where he comes from?
I can't say I do.
The second best team in the North.
He was the Ravens defensive coordinator last year.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
They kicked Pete Carroll out of town. They said, Pete Carroll, we will give you a advisory position or like a consultant
front
position,
office, upper management kind of thing.
Yeah, but we don't want you coaching this football team anymore. We're going to bring in Mike Macdonald, who's the defensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens. And this guy, dude, he's just been swinging a hot bat. He's been phenomenal. For him to be rookie head coach, and Seattle doesn't get talked about. And a lot of people say it's because they're on the West Coast. They're in Seattle. They're so far away. People, like most of the NFL is all in like the Midwest through the East part of the United States. They just don't talk about Seattle. But the fact that Mike Macdonald is 3-0 as a rookie head coach with a Geno Smith-led team, like this guy's fucking coaching football. Yeah. He is phenomenal. It's so slept on. I love it. I fucking love it. I think he's like a Cinderella story that just isn't a story because it's Seattle. Anyways, Sam.
Big shoes to fill as well, like you said.
Well, yeah. You have Pete Carroll. You're coming
Massive
in for Pete
shoes
Carroll,
to fill.
who was won Super Bowls in Seattle, who was dominant in Seattle. He was one of the most loved coaches in the NFL that people love watching 75-year-old Pete Carroll run up and down the field. And then they kick him out of town. They bring in Mike Macdonald, and this guy just shoots. It's like Kalen DeBoer with Alabama. Kalen DeBoer comes in for Nick Saban and has just been dominant. It's like that's the hardest shoes you could ever have to feel. Those are the biggest boots that you could ever put your feet in. And Kalen DeBoer has done phenomenal for Alabama. They're playing Georgia this week, and most people are picking Alabama to beat Georgia, beat Kirby Smart in Georgia this week. And Kalen DeBoer is just a great coach. And then you have Mike Macdonald's in the same boat. He's taking over for Pete Carroll, and you would think there would be some sort of lull, some sort of like the team would be down and out and just like, oh, you kicked our head coach, the guy who brought us all here, you kicked him out of town, and now we have this new guy coming in, and he's fucking 3-0. It's unbelievable. He's incredible. I'm high on Mike Macdonald. I love these Seahawks. Even though they're an NFC West team.
Yeah.
And the Cardinals
a
are
division rival for you. That's true.
Yeah. Cardinals are going to go 2-0 against them. But they're going to beat the Lions.
Like that. Oh, okay.
Something's about to happen for the first time this show. The more I've thought about it, I think this is a high-scoring affair. No, I don't want to bet it. I know the Lions are going to win this game. In my head, I know 100% the Lions are going to win. I don't know why I'm betting on it to only be by 3 points. I'm actually going to change my bet. Detroit Lions minus 3.5.
Jesus.
I'm changing it.
You're going to
Dan Campbell, absolute god. He's going to come out. He's going to hammer
He is not a god.
Seahawks.
Last time he lost, he literally looked his team in the eye and said, I lost us that game, man. I lost us that game, man.
Way to take accountability.
Well, yeah, he took accountability.
Way to take accountability for your players.
You know who hasn't lost his team a game? Mike fucking Macdonald has not lost his team a game.
So one of the other reasons that I did this is who have the Seahawks played?
Yeah, it's been
look at
preseason.
this.
I know.
So
I said that I started my
Broncos.
I not start
you
with
prefaced
that?
it. You did
Bo
preface
Nix
it.
and the Broncos, week 1. Bo Nix's first start ever.
Yeah.
Won by 6 points.
Okay.
Cool. Good job. Week 2, Patriots, who last week got exposed for the frauds of a team they were after winning week 1. The Patriots are not good. Seahawks won by 3 points. Jeez. Last week, against a Skylar Thompson and Tim Boyle led team, they blew them out 24-3.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's good enough to keep it close with the Lions. This is the first time on the show that it's happened because I'm a very opinionated person.
You're waffling.
You guys know that I'm a very opinionated person. When I make a prediction, I believe it wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
I'm changing it. Give me Lions minus 3.5, but my lock is the over at 46. That game, the Seahawks offense is very good. People thought that the Seahawks defense was going to be great because Mike Macdonald is a defensive coordinator. He was going to come in here and change it. Ryan Krebs has been an awesome person on that offense as the offensive coordinator for the Seahawks. DK Metcalf is balling out. From what I've heard, I think Kenneth Walker's back this game too.
What?
Maybe I'm wrong on that, but
allegedly he's still questionable. Still projected points.
Okay.
Wow.
So better situation than Joe Mixon, for example. But
there's still a chance that he's back. I think the offenses go off. I think this game probably goes over 60 points. I think they're going to surprise us with an amazing Monday night doubleheader.
I'm excited for it.
Lions minus 3.5. I'm taking it.
That's just team football, man. You have a shitty Monday night game in a different Monday night game that you can turn off the other Monday night game to what it was like last Monday night. You had Jags Bills. That was just a boat race.
Sleeper.
The Bills were fucking
did not fully make it through the second quarter of that game.
And then you had the Commanders and the Bengals, which was probably, I don't know if I would stamp this, but that was one of the funnest games to watch.
One of the more entertaining games last week, for sure.
So much fun to watch.
All right, Sam.
As a Steelers fan, it was so good to watch.
We haven't heard from you, Sam, and we went a long time talking
about
prediction.
That's last prediction of this segment.
That's
who wins
more
this
than
game?
Okay, as a matter of
3.5 point favorites are the Lions. Who do you take?
3.5, you said?
3.5 is the spread.
See, my opinion has also changed through the discussion of the topic, but I actually initially had the Lions covering the spread going into it initially, and now I've moved more over to the Seahawks. It's a tough one for me personally. I've got Amon-Ra in a league, got DK in another league. I do also see a high. This is actually one of the games I'm most excited for this week. I'm with both of you on the over. Think it'll be a very, very fun offensive-heavy game. On the other hand, I really liked the Seahawks defense just on paper as a roster as is before they've gotten Mr. Macdonald, and Mr. Macdonald's looked very excellent. But they've got everything on defense. They've got a very, very good secondary. They got Tariq Woolen, then they go and add Witherspoon. Didn't know really what I thought of Witherspoon, and then he comes out as one of the best rookie corners last year. They've got the
So
secondary.
Probably the best.
So good.
Right?
Between
Yeah.
him and Tariq Woolen, oh my gosh.
Yes.
I want to talk about a quarterback duo.
Crazy secondary. They don't
Madden players
necessarily
know
have any like big names on the D-line. However, their D-line seems to play really, really good against the run. And then they go and they add Byron Murphy in the draft this year, like massive body at D-tackle. Like these guys are like daring people to run the ball. Lions, I don't think, have like the run heaviest team. Montgomery's looked good, but they kind of mix it up a little bit. They like to pass a lot. Do you guys remember what happened last year when these guys
while
played?
you're making this argument, while you're making this argument about the Seahawks D-line, top 2 defensive linemen, Leonard Williams and Uchenna Nwosu, both have not practiced
How do
yet
you
this
say
week.
that?
Uchenna Nwosu.
Really?
Both have not participated in practice this week.
Really?
As far as I've
unaware
heard, they're
of that.
both doubtful. So,
Okay.
because the Seahawks
Likely to
defensive
not
line
be
has
playing.
been great. But I just wanted to throw that out there while you're making this prediction.
I do appreciate that because I did not know
the
that.
Seahawks D-line
I
has
did
been
not know they
great.
were both going to be out.
Seahawks D-line has been great.
Interesting. Yeah. Do you guys remember what happened last year when these two teams played?
No.
It was another shootout over. Let me look. Actually, let me look. I know it was over 60.
I mean,
37 to 31. I knew the Seahawks ended up winning it. It was a shootout. 37-31 the Seahawks won last time, and in my mind they've only gotten better. It's hard.
I love the over.
See, I love what I'm saying too, and then the more I talk about it, the more I'm kind of losing my thought process here. Let me get the vibes again. Give me the Seahawks. Give me the Seahawks to win and cover. Give me the Seahawks to win and cover here.
Gives them the Seahawks to cover.
But I do expect it to be a very good game. I do expect the over to be hit. And I expect it to be fairly close. But, yeah, I think the Seahawks win and cover.
Okay. I love it. I love the diversification we have between the three of us about every single one of these games. I mean, you look at it, there's only 2 games that we agreed upon the spread, and both of them we talked pretty highly about the other team, potentially upsetting. Building this ladder is going to be really fun. I think we're going to take a super quick break, come back, build a ladder that's actually going to win. We're not losing 4 weeks in a row. It ain't fucking happening. It ain't fucking happening.
We can't.
So if you guys are ready to make some money, the three of us are going to cook up a parlay that is guaranteed to hit as much as any parlay has ever been guaranteed since the last one I posted. What?
I put my son on it, as a matter of fact.
Let's take a break. Coming up next, we are going to build the ladder parlay.
And hit you guys with a sweet player prop parlay for Sunday.
Yeah.
Let's make some real money.
I'm excited
to
hear
player prop parlays have been fucking
player
I'm feeling good about them. That might be
excited to hear that.
Yeah.
Hey, Sam, I meant to ask you before we go on break. Your relationship with Sir David is better than mine. Have you ever met or had a beer with Rashid Shaheed?
I have not. I have never met nor come close to having a beer with Rashid Shaheed.
All right.
I've seen David a couple times recently and talked to him. I've definitely brought up Shaheed with him, actually, but yeah,
Do you think that gets annoying for him to have to
met
talk
him
about, like when he talks to people, they're like, "Hey, dude, how's it going?"
Oh, I'm
David?
sure, dude.
How's Rashid Shaheed doing? Like
especially him too, because you think, yeah, man, like I was on that team too. Kind of won a lot of games, kind of won a lot of championships in that conference.
Lining up next to Rashid Shaheed.
Yeah.
I didn't know the NFL.
I do know that he loves that guy, and it's really cool to say that, you know, we've got acquaintances with him and that he knows Rashid like really, really well and stuff. And every time I've talked to him about him, he's like, yeah, that guy's an absolute dog. And he's super fun to watch as well. Like just explosive. Like we were talking about, like I think 90% of this guy's touchdowns have been like over 40 yards. It's ridiculous. And he's fun to watch, but have never had the pleasure of sharing a beer with him myself personally.
Well, we'll get there.
We'll have to change that.
We'll get there one day.
We'll have to change that.
Yeah, we'll for sure get there. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to take a piss. We're going to crack open another beer. We will be back here momentarily. We are back with Shots and Ladders, your home for gambling, drinking, and degeneracy. Taking up this last segment, we are going to be building our ladder parlay. The whole point of the shots and ladders is this ladder parlay. We want to build a parlay that's going to make everybody money. We have failed weeks 1, 2, and 3. We got eyes on what is happening in the NFL. We have eyes on who is going to win, who is going to lose. We have eyes on what overs are going to hit, what unders are going to hit. It's all starting to make sense. The crystal ball is coming together. Gambling is not going to continue losing the way it has been.
We're taking Vegas's money.
We are.
This
We are
week.
going to.
Love it.
And this ladder parlay is going to hit. Now, with that being said, before we get to the ladder parlay, Connor Franklin, our resident semi-professional poker player, our resident degenerate gambler, has cooked up a player prop bet following his hot Monday Night Football on Week 3 $1,400 win. Connor, what do you got? Hey,
Okay.
big claps. Big
Clap
claps.
it up for
Sam.
this guy
Big
right
claps,
here.
big
Thank you.
claps.
We're winning this one. Sunday is going to be so much easier to predict because instead of 2 games, I have to come up with a player prop parlay. You're going to give me fucking 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12.
15.
I got 15 games that I can predict here.
Yeah.
I didn't predict anything Monday because I want to win this shit Sunday. Monday
Yeah.
is going to be its own
Let's
fucking
go.
game. So
Let's go.
I got 13
Love it.
games here.
Okay.
This is what's happening right here. We're going to start off with the New York Jets and Denver Broncos. Mike Williams, 2+ receptions, and Alan Lazard, 2+ receptions. Garrett Wilson is going to be covered by fucking Broncos, dude.
Surtain.
Why am I-
Surtain.
Why was I blanking on his name? Yeah, Patrick Surtain. Rodgers is going to be throwing the ball to other people. Mike Williams and Alan Lazard both getting 2.
Okay.
Next up,
Love
we
it.
got Saquon Barkley of the Philadelphia Eagles. Over 55.5 rushing yards.
Okay.
Playing against the Buccaneers defense. Vita Vealis.
Vita Vea
Not
Less.
playing with him.
Buccaneers
Saquon Barkley, the offensive player of the year right now, he will hit this. Next up, Steelers Colts. Anthony Richardson, over 16.5 rushing yards.
That seems like a
Tell me
low line.
It's low. I bought it down a little
Way
bit.
too
'cause
low.
I want that guarantee. That's not the 50-50 line. That's my line right now because I'm hitting this bet. I ain't losing this bet.
Okay.
Also in that game, the dude that's catching more passes from Justin Fields than anyone in history, George Pickens. George Pickens, over 3.5 receptions.
Okay.
I like
Love
it.
it.
I
Next
do
up.
like it as a Colts fan.
In the Vikings-Packers game, we didn't talk about it when we were talking about the Vikings-Packers game. But there was a guy that used to play for the Green Bay Packers. He now plays for the Minnesota Vikings. And he came out and he said he was going to, in a Minnesota Vikings uniform, do a Lambeau leap when, not if, but when he scores his first touchdown. Give me Aaron Jones, anytime touchdown.
Okay.
Next up,
Love it.
somehow has turned into one of my favorite teams to bet on this year, the Carolina Panthers.
Right.
Andy Dalton, just to throw 1 touchdown pass against his old team. Nothing crazy. I don't need yards. I don't need 2 touchdowns. I
That
need
feels
1
like
fucking
a
touchdown
lock.
from him.
That
1
feels like
touchdown.
a lock.
Then Kansas City, playing in LA, division game. Patrick Mahomes. Oh, again, only 1 touchdown. I'm not asking.
What?
I'm not asking for the world. I just need
One
1 touchdown.
touchdown?
1
The
touchdown.
best quarterback in the league,
One
one
fucking
touchdown?
touchdown.
All
One
right,
that's too
touchdown.
good.
All right.
And last but not least, Sunday Night Football. We got the Bills and we got the Ravens. This is what the game's going to come down to. I need 2 receptions from James Cook and
Okay.
2 receptions from Isaiah Likely. That's it.
That's all.
Those are the only legs of the parlay.
Really?
$100 to win $2,100. I'm going to turn
Jesus.
$100 into $2,200 sitting right here doing what we do. It's a guaranteed lock. Tail it. We'll post it on Twitter or post it on X too. A guaranteed lock.
I'm
$100.
excited to
Lord.
see that go out on your X.
I'm about
I
to
can't
pay
wait
my
to retweet
entire
it.
fucking rent with 1 player prop parlay from a Sunday. That's the easiest
Yeah.
parlay I've ever made.
Easy. Okay. That
Easy
sounds.
shit.
Every single leg that you said. The only one that I'm slightly worried about, only because I hate over rushing yards, is Saquon
Yeah.
Barkley over.
It's scary to put it, but Saquon is the best candidate for offensive player of the year. He is going to take over this Bucs defense. No Devontae Smith, no A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
What the fuck else are the Eagles going to do besides run the ball through Saquon Barkley?
They're playing the Bucks, right?
Guaranteed.
All right. I love it.
Okay.
I fucking love it, Connor.
All right.
That
Let's
might
go.
be my favorite one on there. That is
Everyone tail
almost,
it.
you
I
would
guarantee
say,
it's going to fucking
despicable
hit.
to expect him to have less than 55.
You know what? Here's how fucking confident I am in it. Someone that tails it comments on YouTube and shows me that they fucking tailed it. If it loses, I'll send you $25. I'll pay for your next 2 drinks.
25. Why not
25 bucks.
2,200?
Huh? No. If it loses, I'll pay you $25
okay.
if you tail it and it loses. I'll pay for your next 2 drinks.
All right.
$25.
Sounds good.
Guaranteed. Easy money
Love it.
because I know it's fucking hitting.
Thank you.
I know it's hitting.
Let's go. All right. Moving on to the ladder parlay. Now, Sam, I'm not sure that you know how this ladder parlay works.
Please, give me a refresher.
I'll break it down for you. The way the ladder parlay works, we have legs 1, 2, and 3 here on the bottom. Okay.
Okay.
That is a 3-leg parlay. We're going to put $50 on that 3-leg parlay to win somewhere around $150 to $170. Okay. That's going to pay for the rest of the legs that we're going to place. Now, this 3-leg parlay is the parlay that we are most confident in. This is our lock. This is, these 3 legs are going to win. And this is going to free us up to place a 5-leg parlay. It's going to involve the same 3 legs, but we're going to add legs 4 and 5 and make a 5-leg parlay.
Beautiful.
Then we are going to move on to 6, 7, a 7-leg parlay, including the same 3, same 4 and 5, but then we're going to go up to 6 and 7, then we're going to go 8 and 9, then we're going to go 10 and 11, following the same strategy. Does that make sense to you?
Perfect. Absolutely.
Okay. So
one of the things we're doing different this week, though, is because that bottom left corner has given us so much goddamn trouble.
Just this one in general.
That fucking corner. That
this
fucking
guy right
corner has
here.
given us every bit of trouble that you could ask for from a parlay.
Yeah.
That leg fucking sucks.
Bingo.
We're not going to debate this. I'm just going to put it up there because here's the thing. If it
I'm not gonna
loses,
watch.
I'm okay with taking the blame on this because I know my $2,200 parlay is hitting. I'm going to play this like a bitch. New York Jets, money line against the Denver Broncos. We're playing it safe. We're playing it easy. There's no way that Aaron Rodgers loses that game. The most we can ask for is that leg guarantees hits. Everything else we can debate, we can talk about.
Okay.
But that leg is going to hit. That's the only leg that I need.
Sam,
Okay.
I want to go to you back in Idaho Falls, my hometown. You are the hometown hero. Give me a second leg on this 3-leg parlay that I cannot debate with.
Really? Okay. Let me look here. Let me get one more gander at the matchups here.
I know you weren't
Let's look
prepared
at
for
it
this.
because-
I know you weren't prepared for this. This is an organic parlay.
I love it. And don't worry,
Here's
it
the
took,
thing. You
it
choose
took
something
me a
that I
whole
don't
of
like,
2
I'll
seconds
fight
to
you.
decide. It took me a
Okay.
whole of 2 seconds to decide this one.
What do you
So
got?
no worries here. Give me the
Right again.
Bengals money line against the Panthers here. I know we got a revenge game for Andy Dalton. I know that we've got that. I know the Bengals are some slow starters. They've got T. Higgins. They've got Jamar Chase back. The chemistry with Burrow and Jamar looked excellent last week. Hey, if the Panthers beat the Bengals, I will drive 400 miles to my 2 beautiful friends right here and accept a slap bet against either one of them. You know what? Matter of fact, both of them. I will take 2 slaps if the Bengals lose this football game against the Carolina Panthers.
Before that little added sprinkles on top, I was going to fight you pretty hard.
I'm with it, though. I'm with it.
I was going to fight
when
you
he
pretty
said
hard.
that-
But when you said that, to have you in person on this show next
Yep.
week, I would
Yep.
be honored. I would be honored, and I will allow that because I was
That's-
going to fight that because I think there is a genuine chance that the Panthers win this game because Andy Dalton's revenge game is going to be so
Yep.
good. But I like what you're saying because I don't see the Bengals as an 0-4 team. Looking
agree.
at them, looking at how they play, I agree with you 100%. I know that I took the Panthers plus 4.5, but I just don't see the Bengals being an 0-4 team. I love it. I love it.
Okay.
You know what? We're going to take it. We're going to take it because we're winning this. This bottom 3 has to hit.
Okay.
I hate taking money lines because it makes the money so much less.
Yeah,
but it has to hit. So I love it. Let's do it.
I like taking up this third spot on this parlay, and I know we'd have to wait till Monday to see it happen. But I like the over on the Seahawks-Lions game. I also like the over on the Commanders-Cardinals game. I will let you two be the judge.
Neither of those are even my favorite over of the week.
Who's your favorite over of the week?
Buffalo-Baltimore. Sunday night, over 46.5. But of the two that you named, the Seattle-Detroit feels like an absolute lock for an over. I would be okay with waiting until Monday. It's going to suck, but we're going to have to. I mean, if it happens, if our bet comes down to it, we're going to be videotaping our reactions the entire game for this game. I'm okay with that. I don't know how you feel, Sam, but over 46 between Seattle and Detroit.
Sam, do you have a single bet on the board that you like more than the over for Seattle and Detroit?
I don't. Like I said, last year's matchup, absolute shootout. Seattle's looked really, really good. Detroit absolutely has something to prove. The way they've kind of started the season, I think this might be their most explosive week. And there's just nonstop weapons on the Seahawks. I love it. I love it as the third leg. And I won't lie, the Bills-Ravens does scare me a little bit. That might be one of the harder ones for me personally to predict. So I love Seattle-Detroit over.
What do you think about the over? Because I understand the trepidation of picking either Baltimore -2.5 or Buffalo +2.5. I understand where you guys are coming from taking Baltimore. Baltimore looks like a great team. Obviously, I think that the Bills are going to crush them. I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. The Bills are going to win this game outright. I don't even need this points. But the over on that, 46.5.
You're talking specifically like the over. I don't hate the over at all. I misunderstood where you're coming from, but Bills-Ravens over, I do like. I will say personally, just based off of a little bit of recency bias, I do think I like Seattle-Detroit a little more on the over.
Okay. No, I'm down with Seattle-Detroit. This bottom three has to fucking hit. I can't believe we're taking an 0-3 team on here, but it has to hit.
No. Well, yeah.
0-3 team.
Open your laptop. Give me the odds on this. $50
what do we got?
How much? That's $50 to win 172 bucks. So, Connor, we know this ladder parlay always equals out to $93 for the total bet. If we just win the three legs here, New York Jets money line, Cincinnati money line, Seattle and Detroit,
we win 122 bucks. Just like that.
Just like that. Bingo. Exactly.
That's more than a whole week of free lunch. Just so everyone's aware.
It's free lunch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's move on to legs 4 and 5. Spamuel.
Back to me, huh?
Should we all three say our favorites?
Sure.
For the next part of the leg? So, Sam, what would be your next favorite one for this leg?
My next favorite for this one here. You know? What have we got for A-Chain? What are they saying about A-Chain right now?
So as far as we know, he's playing. He's playing.
Prop wise.
Okay.
I don't know that we can't put a prop in this parlay.
So this one is just going to be spread bets and over-unders.
Just spreads and over-unders, okay.
And spreads, money lines, and over-unders. We unfortunately cannot add a prop bet to it.
Okay, individual props are out. Good to know. Okay. Just spreads and money lines.
Bingo.
Let's see here. Give me one moment to look. Give me the Chiefs money line to go next over the Chargers.
Chiefs money line. How do you feel about that, Connor?
What do you think?
That seems like a lock.
It feels like a lock. I just don't love throwing so many money lines into it. The bottom three has to hit, which is why I love the money lines down here. But a division game, when the Chiefs have won every game by a last-second play, if you guys are both on it, I'm down.
How you feeling?
How about this?
But I got a strong one for the next one if we do that.
Any rebuttals?
If we go KC money line, and then we take a underdog money line
Mm.
as the fifth leg.
Who are you feeling for the
Okay.
underdog money line?
Which underdog are you thinking here?
I like
Because the best money line for an underdog right now is the Buffalo Bills. You cannot convince me otherwise. They're the best team in the NFL.
I
coming in
agree
as a
with that.
2.5-point dog.
I agree. I also
LA Rams as well.
Rams. I
Three-point
love the
dog.
Rams.
I would be more comfortable though doing the Rams spread. Give us that little 3-point spread because if that ends
Yeah.
as a 3-point win for the
So
Bears,
we like Rams +3 here.
yeah, do
Okay.
Rams +3 and then Chiefs.
And
I don't
KC
mind that
money.
at all.
Okay, let's do it. Rams +3.
Okay, we're gonna bet $25 on
See.
this 5-leg parlay.
Line.
Okay, we're adding 25 more. What's the winning looking like here?
He's doing it right now.
We're gonna find out here momentarily when I can find these games. Chiefs money line plus Rams with the points. Is 25 to win $208. That's a little conservative, but I'm all right with conservative.
It is.
We're ready to win a goddamn.
I won't
thing.
lie. I'm a little nervous here. For the viewers' sake, that's all.
Let's move on to legs 6 and 7. Let's get a little more aggressive. I like here either throwing in the Falcons -3, the Packers -3.
No, not the Packers. The Minnesota Vikings +3 is the bet right there. I don't know why you're on the Packers -3. Malik Willis versus Sam Darnold should never be a 3-point spread.
That's
Do you
fair.
have the Patriots +10.5, or do you have the Niners -10.5?
I have the Niners -10.5.
Were you two both Niners and I was Patriots?
No,
I was
you two.
Patriots.
You two were both Patriots. I was.
We're
Niners
both
on
Patriots. 9.5, you said.
this. 10.5.
With no Christian
10.5.
McCaffrey,
10
no
and a half feels like a
Debo.
lot. Why don't?
No,
why don't?
Debo's
Hold
back.
up. Hold up. Hold up.
Debo's
Let me
back?
throw this off.
Yeah.
There was only 2 games this entire slate that we all chose. Why don't we go the goddamn Arizona Cardinals -3.5? We all
love
feel it. We all
I do love
we all
that.
enjoy the Cardinals. We love the
I
Cardinals.
absolutely love
Okay.
it. It's the Cardinals' week. It really is.
Okay.
Are the Jets really going to cover 8 points against
No,
the
we got the
Broncos?
Jets money line. We can't. We got the Jets money line.
Can't throw him back in there.
Nope. What about...
Hey, remind me one more time. It's 7.5 on Jags Texans, yeah?
6.5.
6.5?
6.5.
And
I
I
feel pretty
like the
confident
Jags.
that could be a close game.
I love the Jags covering 6.5.
Yeah, I do.
All right.
Okay. Jags +6.5.
So Cardinals -3.5, Jags +6.5. Cardinals -3.5. That's a +100 bet. Jags -3.5. Or Jags +6.5. Sorry. Excuse me. $10 here wins 314.
Wow.
We're just making our money back from the first 2 weeks of terribleness. This is making money back right now. These next 2 are we're going to win money. We're not taking any money lines. We're taking spread bets only.
Okay.
Or spread or over-unders if we really feel that confident about
Sure.
it.
Sure.
I love the Commanders Cardinals over. I love the Bengals Panthers over. Vikings
I like the
Packers
Browns Raiders
over.
under personally.
What was that?
Browns Raiders under as well, I think is worth the discussion. Wait,
36
remind
and
me
a
one
half,
more
though?
time. What was the over under on the Browns Raiders? Wasn't it low?
36.5.
36.5. Colson and I were both on the over, actually, on that game. because of the fact that it's two bad offenses.
That's true.
Two bad defenses, and I think that the offenses are going to cook on this. One of my favorites that I'll throw out there right now. We didn't talk about the over/under while we were talking about it. Philadelphia Eagles and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Over 42.5. That's two explosive offenses. I love the over on that game.
Well, yeah, and I like the
love
Bucks
the over
covering the spread there, which makes me like the over more.
See, the spread's nothing. 1.5 point spread is almost nothing. I mean, at that point, it's pretty much money line.
It's a pick 'em.
Yeah, it's a pick 'em, and I think the Eagles are going to cover that
42.5.
Handedly, I think the Eagles are going to cover that.
What do you think, Sam?
But
I
love
42.5
love the over there. That one, and then the Minnesota Vikings +3 are my next two favorite overs for the entire week that we haven't talked about.
Vikings Packers.
I do like Vikings Packers over. I'm not quite as confident on Eagles Bucks with the Eagles missing two offensive receivers, two offensive weapons.
Green Bay over 40. Yeah, 44 feels low.
Yeah, I like that. I do like that.
Okay. The next line. It's getting tough.
It is getting tough. It really is. This week is kind of tough to call.
Sam ain't gonna like it.
What do you think in here?
Goddamn Steelers. The Steelers -2.
Steelers -2.
Feels like good. Vikings +3 feels good, and Eagles -1.5 are my next three.
I'm on the Colts here, but I would love this bet to lose because the Steelers lose. I'm down to take the Steelers -2.
I love the Steelers -2 here. If it loses because of the Steelers, it loses because of the Steelers, but it won't happen because the Steelers are going to win this game by 4 points.
Spam?
To the viewers, I have no comment. And if I try and be as possibly unbiased as possible, then I would say I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Pitt.
I would. I'll set aside the emotion for a moment here.
Okay.
Colts have looked rough.
What's that one turn into, Colson?
Minnesota, Green Bay over 44 plus Pitt -2.
Good Lord. I'll even take a shot on the Colts' behalf for that one. That one hurts.
$5 on this one wins $572.
Okay.
Wow.
$5 wins $572. Now
So for this last one, I feel like one of the legs has to be the other one that we all agreed on because everything else is a debate.
Yeah.
The only other one that we all agreed on was Atlanta -3. And that's just personal feelings. I feel like if we all agree on something, it has to be at least on the board because the odds of us all agreeing on something are very low.
I think we only had two today, right?
Bingo.
There's only two as far as the spreads. Over/under, we agreed on a couple others, but spreads, those are the only two that we agreed on, and they both have to be on there, in my opinion.
I like Raiders money line versus the Browns. I like Seahawks money line versus the Lions.
Spread?
No, money line.
Money line? No shot. Maybe I'd give you the spread there, but I don't think the Lions lose this game. I genuinely think that the Lions win this game.
What about the Bills Ravens over?
We already have that.
We got that one.
No, we don't.
No, we don't.
You didn't take that one earlier?
No.
Oh, what are we doing? That's a lock.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one to close it out.
Yeah,
here.
that's easy. Easy.
Buff.
Damn, we should have put that lower. 46.5 is the spread.
Yeah, that could have been second, third leg right there.
That could have been first leg in my mind.
It could have.
It did. We talked about that one in the Seattle Detroit as the first leg.
Yeah, those were the two, weren't they?
Yeah, those are the two.
So let's go.
And you know what? Wait, hold up. Before you talk about the money on this, we usually do what, $2 on this?
3.
I feel this confident. Just throw another 5 on it. Make it an even 5.
Please.
Okay.
Please.
So instead of 93, this is gonna be $96. Because it's hitting. There's no way with 3 of us this shit ain't hitting.
95.
The vibes are there. Bottom line.
Atlanta -3.
So $95 total bet. What are we looking at?
$5 to win $2,105.
Wow. I love it.
$5.
I love that.
So we have total of 95.
3. So a total of $95 to win just shy of 3,400.
What's the
Wow.
actual number?
I don't know. I did it in my head. I didn't do actual number.
Gotcha.
Let's see how close I am, though. Let's see how good the math is mathing after this many screwball shots and this many Coors Lights.
Plus 314 plus 208 plus 172. You said just shy of what?
3,400.
$95 to win $3,371.
That math is math, and
you know
when
what?
I'm
Matter
this
of fact,
much in,
let me stand up.
when I'm this goddamn screwball shot deep, it's fucking math.
I'll
Math is
stand
math.
after that real quick. I love it.
Thank you, Sam. I appreciate that.
Especially ending on a strong note as well. You're a
psycho.
psychopath if you don't think
Thank
that
you.
Buffalo
Thank
Baltimore is going over. You really should get yourself evaluated mentally. So
No,
that's
honestly,
my
we
take.
should have put that one. We should have put that one lower.
That one could have gone very much earlier.
We could have subbed that here with a Jags, like Jags 6.5 up there, Buffalo Baltimore down there. No,
Sam,
that one's.
I'm worried about
Jets
New
money
York
line?
Giants money or New York
Jets money line
That
is not. The
that's-
Jets are not losing to the goddamn.
It's
Broncos.
not about the fucking game. Okay, it's not about the fucking game.
You're right. It's about that
It's
bottom
about
fucking
the
square. We're beating that goddamn square this week, and Aaron Rodgers is going to defeat that square for us. I have so much confidence.
Okay, so when
much fucking confidence. Jesus Christ.
when the Jets win money line, when the Jets win their game, the Cincinnati Bengals win their game, and the Seattle Seahawks go over 46 points at the Detroit Lions at Ford Field, we are going to win $172 off $50, which is going to pay for our $95 total parlay. We're going to add a $25 bet, Kansas City winning money line against the Rams, or with the Rams covering the 3-point spread. That's going to be $25 to win us $208. Now we're going to move on after we win both of those to our 6 and 7 leg parlay. Arizona Cardinals are going to cover the 3.5-point spread against the Washington Commanders, and the Jaguars are going to cover the 6.5-point spread against
Texans.
The Texans.
Houston Texans. That's $10 to win $314. Now, at this point, we're in $85 and we're up a cool $700. That's half of a rent payment. That's more than a car payment. We're going to add that 7-leg parlay to a 9-leg parlay that's going to be Minnesota and Green Bay going over 44 and the Pittsburgh Steelers covering a 2-point spread against the Colts, $5 to win $572. Then we will cap it off with our big winning, big dick on the fucking table 11-leg parlay. Atlanta Falcons -3 and the Buffalo Bills and the Baltimore Ravens going over 46.5. $5 to win $2,105. That takes our total $95 parlay in the latter format to win $3,371. Now, you and your friends and you and the viewers watching might just cook up an 11-leg parlay. That might be the route that you take. Let's just cook up an 11-leg parlay. This might be your 11-leg parlay. $5 to win $2,105. $10 to win $4,210.
That's good math.
That's not the smart way of doing it. The smart way of doing it is building a ladder parlay. And that is what we have done here for you. Tail this bet at your own risk. But ladies and gentlemen, I have never been more confident in a ladder parlay built by my best childhood friend, Samuel Ray Levitt and Connor Allen Franklin. This one's going to win.
And here's the other thing. Before any of this happens, they're already going to have won over $2,000 from that player prop parlay.
Bingo.
That's true.
We're going to win $4,000. We're going to win
That's
$4,000.
That's $5,371.
$5,000.
Side note,
$5,571.
Yeah.
Side note, if you're a Tennessee Titans fan, this is the most money you've ever seen in your lifetime. So I highly suggest hammering it. I really do. I really do.
And hammer it at your own risk. This is myself, Colson Dobson, joined by Connor Allen Franklin and Samuel Ray Levitt in Idaho Falls, signing off saying this has been our third episode of Shots and Ladders on the fourth week of the NFL season. Can't wait for NFL Sunday. It's going to be a good one, and we are going to win a shit ton of money.
Let's
Connor,
win some goddamn money.
Great work. Sam, great work. We will see you guys next week on Shots and Ladders.